What you gonna play now? I don't know.
South Australians are caught in the middle of a bikie war. Tensions between gangs are reaching boiling point. First, the leader of the local Comancheros chapter was shot in the leg in an ambush attack in the middle of suburbia.
Focarelli was shot in what was the sixth time his enemies had tried to kill him and failed.
He's previously been the target of a botched car bombing, a fire bombing on his home, and another shooting attempt at a supermarket, all linked to a long-running feud with the Hells Angels.
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Get Down. This is Beats, episode 4, season 2. I just want to give my apologies for last week with the DV's Dev episode. I had some technical difficulties and the files were corrupted and I was unable to edit them. So not to worry, we'll get them on again. Too easy. I also want to thank Taunts and Greeley and Disaster for coming on. That was really good of you guys. Good to have a chat and learn a lot about you guys. And yeah, I just want to let you guys know, the listeners know also that we will be, like I've mentioned, we will be sort of sidestepping away from hip hop a little bit. I'll still be staying on that tangent, but when I started the podcast, I did want it to be about people that interest me, not necessarily just hip hop. So as this week will show, we're going on a bit of a different direction this week. So without more bumbling on, this week on the Get Down, we are joined by a very controversial character, to say the least. A former Comanchero Motorcycle Club member and founder of the New Boys crew. This guy has been a drug dealer and has spent over a decade in prison and had 6 assassination attempts on his life, with the last attempt resulting in the unfortunate death of his stepson. There was a while there in Adelaide, you couldn't pick up a newspaper without reading his name. Joining us tonight to talk about his journey of redemption from underworld figure to avid Muslim. Listeners, please welcome to the Get Down, Vince Focarelli. Vince, what's up, brother?
G'day, mate. How are you? I'm good.
I'm good, mate. How are you? You looking pretty fucking fit over there.
Well, bro, well, I have to, because for me, training is therapy, you know. I've been doing it most of my life. Yep. And it calms me down. You know, people know sometimes I go from 0 to 100 back in the past. And these days, I want to go from 100 to 0, you know. It benefits me, and it is part of my life, to be honest, training, and it's therapy. It actually, if I'm ever feeling tension or frustrated or things like that, I exhaust myself, you know. I really get into the training and I exhaust myself to the point where I feel, you know, that I got no energy. So I'm like a softie after. I calm down and relax and chill. But it's my therapy. Alhamdulillah.
Probably the biggest you've ever been. Like you look pretty ripped back in the day, but you're fucking massive at the moment, eh?
Yeah. I'm 46 years old. Let's put it this way. I'm blessed, and I was a bit bigger 7-8 weeks ago. Yeah. I lost an amount of, I went through some issues, but I lost a bit of weight, but I'm back on track now. And I like to feel strong, and yeah, look, everybody likes to look good, look strong, you know. There's not an issue in that. I'm not going to turn around and say I don't like to look strong, but I like to feel strong, feel strong as well, you know. So, and plus, brother, you know, when you get into the papers or the magazines and stuff like that, there are people that get attracted by that look, you know. And for me, it's not about that. It's more to let it be attracted by the youth, by my ummah, you know, and show them that you know, people from hardship can still kick strong and be strong, you know, especially for my Muslim community. So sometimes we go through our hardships all over the world, as you know. Yeah, it's not easy for them.
Yeah, it's been it's been
a
tough year. So you're in Malaysia at the moment. What's the COVID situation?
That's correct.
What's the COVID been like over there?
Oh, bro, let me start by saying this. I want to let everybody know that this for me is a fake pandemic. I want to be clear on that.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't want to pussyfoot around about it. I want to make it clear. I'm upfront. I don't believe it's a pandemic at all. And you know, Allah says in the Quran, "I've created you intelligent creatures I've created you with minds to think. Well, I'll give you something to think about. Last time I checked, right? When they work on pandemic, is like the highest level of disease infection. Like when you walk into the science lab, where they do all the testings and all that.
Yeah.
They look like outfits from astronauts. You know what I mean? The whole body's covered. They look like they're going to the moon, even though they never stepped on the moon. But they look like they're going to the moon, right? So you're telling me, and then they've got to get out of that room. This high tension of antiseptic, whatever they go to, and so forth and so forth. You get the picture?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. They expect us to believe that a mask stops the pandemic and a bit of social distancing. I mean, that's crazy,
Yeah.
I mean, that's my belief in saying that. Same as other countries, brother. Somebody catches a cold here, COVID-19.
Yeah.
So if there's enough, we're not allowed to catch the flu these days. They've got to get COVID-19 now. So, you get a number of these, and they're called spurge, whatever they're called. I don't know, but you get a certain amount of number, and it's locked down. Like it's happening in Australia. Same deal. I mean, Melbourne got the real four blokes, four guys, and girls, but they got the heavy one.
Yeah, they do.
But it's like everywhere else. Yeah, the frustrating part, brother, is the traveling to not see family or family come and visit you. I mean, for all of us, that's the main thing that frustrates. Other than that, brother, they can lock us down to the cows come home, but it's the family thing, that's frustrating. But the same as everyone else. I don't know what's going on in Australia, but here, at the moment, they've been lifted. You can go to work. The gym's been open, so it's been a lot more softer, So we're at the minimal part now.
Yeah, right. Because it's not. It's a third world country, isn't it? It would have been affected pretty heavily.
No, bro. Who told you that?
I've only been through the
airport.
I've only been through the airport, man.
Are you serious? Brother, listen, you know what? I shouldn't laugh because I thought that too back in the days when it came to this area, But, brother, Malaysia is one of the top, if not one of the topmost countries that is progressive and moving forward. I mean, the cities is crazy, brother. Here, they're high level of IT specialists in technology. They've won prizes here. The technology, when they've had competitions in the awards, Malaysia has won the highest awards in technology. They're on another level, brother. Yeah, bro. IT here is crazy. And the city of Kuala Lumpur is crazy, brother. It's bling, bling, And, so what you're thinking about is you're thinking more in the rural areas of Indonesia, even here, the rural areas. But we've got rural areas everywhere, with the Aboriginals, our brothers and sisters there in Australia. You got the rural areas, and plus then you got the cities, But no, brother, here, and brother, since I've been here for 4 years, they have not. First of all, I haven't slept outside my window. Construction of a highway, and it's everywhere. Yeah, construction of brother, residency, condos, highways, brother. Like I'm telling you straight up, it's consistent year after year, and not just in one area, brother. All over Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, all over Kuala Lumpur, it's just crazy. So whoever's told it's a third world country, brother.
No, it must be my own misconception from travelling to Southeast Asia and seeing. I saw some recent footage of Phuket and how it's shut down, and how much they run. How much they run on tourism and stuff like that. Apologies for my ignorance there.
I'll let the Malaysian government know that you apologise, brother. And the people. If I love you, they'll love you, the people. Don't worry. Alhamdulillah.
All right, mate. All right, so first off the bat, right, there's a lot of questions I want to ask you. I'm not asking you to...
I'm sure you do.
I'm not asking you to incriminate yourself or cause any drama for yourself. And if you don't want to answer, please, a simple no comment is fine, or just ask me to move on. I might touch on a few things that you don't want to talk about, and I'm happy for you to move on. But should we rip into it, mate?
Not a problem. Noted.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So your childhood, man. Where were you born? Where were you raised? What were you like as a kid? What's going on there? Because everyone knows this Vincent Focarelli in the newspapers a couple of years ago, right? So we're going to get...
I don't know about a couple of years ago. He's been up for the last 15 years. But
yeah, but, it's there was a painting of you. So They only chose what they were going to show. So, where are you from? When did you come to Australia and all that? What was your childhood like, mate?
Okay. I'm glad you said how was my childhood, but before you said how were you as a child, as long as my mother doesn't answer that, we'll be fine. But for me, brother, I was born in 1974 in Italy, in a city called Salerno, in the Campania region.
Yep.
And the capital was Naples. So, okay, picture this. You got South Australia as a state, right?
Yep.
So that's Campania region. It's like a state. Campania means state, right? And then you got the capital, which is Naples.
Yep.
Adelaide is the capital, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then you drive down to Brighton Beach or Glenelg, Brighton. That's Salerno. That's me. So we're on the coast. We're on the coast of Lungomare, Long Beach.
Yep.
It's a city. I was born smack center of the city, in the city itself, of Salerno. It's a beautiful place. When I was a kid, I remember when I was 3 years old, I climbed this gate. They had to stop giving me sugar. I think they realized after a while that I think I had ADHD, man. I found out later when I was in the 30s that I had ADHD. I guess that explains a little bit. But I remember where we were very poor, and we lived in a one-bedroom flat. And my mother, she was a cleaner. And next to us, there was people that were playing cards, and stuff like that. So she would clean the toilets and clean the offices and stuff like that and come home. My dad was an artist and also a tailor by trade.
Yep.
But when he found his calling for art, back in the days, it's hard for art to be. You heard of Matisse or Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Vincent Van Gogh, not sad Vincent, Vincent Van Gogh, right?
Yeah.
And Vincent Van Gogh, he cut his ears off of frustration, right? Because he couldn't sell his paintings. He used to sleep on a straw bed. It was really hardcore, brother. And he worked hard around his paintings, but he cut off his whole ear from frustration. The painting's now worth $200 million, but it's an exclusive amount of money that's crazy. A painting can be so small and it's worth 20-40 million. But back then he cut his ear off because he couldn't sell it. As soon as he died, guess what? He's painting. So my father was struggling with that. So the money was a bit tight. So my mother would say, go play, So I wouldn't be annoying around the house, around the flat, one bedroom flat. So I remember walking out one day and I wanted to get to the other side where I played, but they locked the gate. Now, these gates were about 2.5 meters to 3 meters tall with spikes. And I remember climbing up, but I just couldn't get to the other side. So I'm calling, Mama, crying, Mama, vieni qua, like this. My mum's looking around, and I could see her looking around with her head. And she looks up, and she sees me on the gate, and she goes, oh, my God, what are you doing up there? So I climbed this gate at 3.5, and I couldn't get down. So that gives you an indication of how I was as a kid from 3 years old. I should have realized then and then that the bars were going to be part of my life, And I couldn't. They locked me in back at 3. So I was really hectic when I was a kid, man. Poor mum, Far out, man. The stories I can tell you. But I grew up in Italy, in the city. When I was 5, before I turned 6, there was a major earthquake in the south area of Italy, which is Naples, Salerno, Calabria area,
Yeah.
And it's in the encyclopedia. You can check this out. And it was hectic. It destroys it killed a lot of people, destroyed a lot of buildings, architecture, but mainly the residency as well. It was pretty big. And that's when the immigration of the Italians started spreading to Canada, Australia, America, and other parts of the world. Fortunately for us, we had my grandfather already established in Australia, Adelaide. For 20 years or 30 years, he was already there. He was one of the seniors, if not the main guys in the community where they looked up to him. Mm-hmm. And back then, immigration was different, brother. It wasn't like sign this, sign that, sign this and that. Pay the ticket, go to Australia, enjoy yourself, right? Yeah. So we paid. Well, my father went to see the Prime Minister, but he saw the Vice Prime Minister, President, because the main guy wasn't available. So he was in the office and they spoke to them and said, no problem. We left with my uncle's family, but he took the boat, the ship, because my father had a phobia for water. He was right. I mean, if you fall in, you can't really walk around, can you? So he was scared. So we took the plane. Didn't help him much. We was scared of heights there too, but And we came to Australia. We got here at the end of 1980, so the start of 1981 almost, just before Christmas. And I remember, what you're going to buzz on this one, brother. I remember when we got to the airport, the plane when it rolled in on the actual track of the plane where the plane sits, there was cars waiting. It's not like now. As soon as you get off the stairs, you walk down the stairs, you jump into the car, it's only car, and you take off. Yeah. And this was but
so you
40 years ago.
Straight to Adelaide?
Yeah, straight to Adelaide. Well, I think it was one stop in Sydney because of petrol. I don't know, so petrol something.
And so you're six years old when you got to Australia?
I was 6 years old, yeah.
Fuck.
6 years old. But and I've been in Adelaide. I lived in Adelaide for permanent residence, which I don't understand. I'll talk to that in a minute. Yeah. For 36 years. But if we look in the dictionary, the word permanent, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, I don't have one on me right now, but permanent, you'd think forever.
It didn't seem that way when they deported me because that, I didn't realise. Yeah.
Don't jump the gun, Vince. Don't jump the gun. We'll get there.
Yeah, sure. Go on. Okay, so 6 years old. I've done my hijrah. I'm in Adelaide now.
So whereabouts? What school? What primary school you go to? Did you cop a lot of shit because you were ethnic?
Hardcore. I think that's why. Yep. I mean, I really learned to fight in primary school. I had no choice. My fear, and plus, I don't know, for some reason, I didn't like to back down. Then I don't know why. I was scared as hell, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't like to back down. And I went to Jeps Cross Primary School. Yeah. I lived at 42 Marvin Avenue, Blair Athol,
Yeah. And
for all you haters out there, go check the street out. It's not mine anymore, so it's an empty block. So I'm happy to say the address, 42 Marvin Avenue, Blair Athol. But just down the road, and there's no one living there now. So there's just down the road was Jeps Cross Primary School.
Yeah. It
was a good school, but I walked into racing. But the problem with me was I didn't understand the word of English at all. I'll tell you a quick story. I'll make you laugh, right? So when the first day of school for me took 3 days. My mum had to drag me through the hall, and I was crying, "No, Mama, no." So and this went on for hours. So the teacher said, "Look, bring him back tomorrow." Second day, "No, Mama, I don't want to go." Boom, boom. She was dragging me down the hallway. I didn't go. I went home. Copped a couple of clippings on the face, on the head, the Italians. For embarrassing them. That was right. I was happy to take that. Didn't want to go to school. But the third day, I thought some ease. I went in. I was blessed because my teacher, her name was Miss Cinchala. She was half Italian and half English. Mm-hmm. And how do I know that? Because I was in the room once, and I was busting to go to the toilet. I was busting for a pee, bro, right? And I said to her, devo andare al gabinetto. I have to go to the toilet. And I'm holding myself in the private part, saying, I can't hold this anymore in Italian. I just, Fabibi, qua non ce la faccio più, like this. She goes, sì, ho capito. She goes, I understand. Ho detto, tu parli italiano? Sì, but you have to say, she goes to me in Italian. Però tu devi dire toilet. Sì, okay, toilet. I went like this. Bro, and I went to the toilet. Unfortunately, I went to the girls' toilet, and one of the, I didn't know, brother, we had troughs. So the teacher made that clear that was my toilet on the other side. It was my first day, brother. So when I went to the girls' toilet, one of the girls screamed, ran out. I looked at her, I said, what a weirdo. What is she doing in the boys' toilet? Right? And when the teacher came, he goes, Vince, this is the girls' toilet. I said, well, where's the toilet? Where's mine? Over there. And they showed me there was a trough. But I went to the toilet because I've never seen troughs. So that was my first day at school.
Yeah.
With the racism, it was full on, brother. It was full on. The Aussie boys, you boys were hectic, man, I'll tell you.
My stepfather was Greek, and he came over at 15, and he was built like a brick shithouse. And they put him in year 7, and he didn't. Same thing, straight from Athens, straight into school. He got harassed, and all he knew was to kick their ass. So, he became a Golden Glove boxer and stuff like that. And I remember him saying it was just horrible. There was you were just a wog boy, rah, rah, rah. There was no help. And so he just fucking kicked everyone's ass and got kicked out of school. And and that was that.
Bro.
That was Adelaide back in the day.
We have to thank you guys because some of us became professional boxers. We want to thank you, Thank you for making us. Thank you for your racism. It helped us get into our talents, But I through primary school, I had no choice but to fight daily. The blessing I got was I had no combos, but I was very fast with my hands. Like he'll throw one punch and mine would 10, like that. I thought, and then they'll start backing off. And I felt like, wow, I didn't realize it was because of my speed until later. And I thought, okay, good. I realized I can't back off. So now from this point on, I can never back off. But I was scared as hell, man. I'll tell you straight up, I like going to school, but I always had this fear that I have to fight. But I never showed him that fear. I wouldn't back down. And I remember one of these guys, his name was Gary. I won't say his surname because he's now a detective in the South Australian Police Force, right? I swear to God, you can't make this stuff up, man. And he knows who he is if he listens to this podcast, Gary. Anyway, this Aussie boy, this big boy, I think back in those days, the mothers fed them legs from horse instead of baked beans like normal people, And he was the toughest kid, But for some reason, Allah put us together to become friends. Thank God for that. So I had a good friend. I had the main guy too, And we hit it off. I went to his house. I remember he had earrings in his ears, because he Aussies, and one earring in the ear. And I remember bringing him back home to my mum and dad. My dad's like, just a quite kill on him. I said, what do you mean, Papa? Is he Larry? Is he gay or something? Like that? Why, Papa? No, he's not. Yeah, I said, no, but he's got an earring on. See, my father was not accustomed to that.
Old school.
The only time anyone ever wore an earring was the pirates, and they were men, So he never saw that. So I was trying to convince him. Yeah, right. And I was trying to convince him, Papa, he's not. He's my friend. 1, 2, 3. This is the culture. Anyway, but he ended up liking Gary as well, and he hit it off from year 2 to all the way through year 7, right?
Yeah.
And high school. And I would fight. The racism was crazy, brother.
So you fought. You had to fight all the way through high school as well.
High school, I had a couple of run-ins at high school, but I think the people that through primary school I started making look, in year 7s and 6 are all ethnic Yugoslavs, Serbians, Croatians, and some Italians and Filipinos. It was a culture. When they saw me starting fighting, I was hanging around with them a lot, Instead of year 2s and 3s, I would hang around with year 7s and 6s. And they took me under their wing and stuff like that. So things started to settle for me in the sense where after year 3, when the boys left year 7 and the next one, they went in year 7. We moved up. We lost a bit. They went to high school and, eventually we got to be the seniors, year 6 and 7 sort of thing. And, I fought throughout primary school without a doubt, but it got less and less and less and less because I think my reputation got a little bit better, in fighting. So yes, I went through that.
So when did you? So do you remember when you first started getting in trouble? So the question I've got written here is, how did you become involved in the criminal world? Now, when did you start? And then we'll delve into how deep you got. But what were you fucking around with when you first started getting into trouble?
Okay, now you can't swear on this podcast, young man.
All right, I'll delete
that.
Right,
my viewers and my going to see
mucking around.
Okay, cool. I appreciate your respect, brother. First of all, I want to start telling you when I first knew that I was going to get in trouble in life was when I was born. When the doctor smacked me, I smacked him back, and I realized then and then what future I had. But in all jokes aside, I first got in trouble with the law. Do you mean with the law?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I first got in trouble with the law where I got arrested, and I lost 10 kilos that night because they couldn't hold you. You're a minor, and they had to personally walk you to the door to my father. So I lost 10 kilos that night just to know what was going to happen to me. I said to him, "Keep me here. It's better." I said, "Lock me up."
Yeah.
I said, "Don't take me to my dad because it's not going to do me. I'm the one who's going to lose it all here. He's going to smack me." But I was 14 years old. We We stole a car. A couple of lads were hanging out, a bit of gangs. We're a bit of a gang, and we were 14, and one of these Italian lads was a bit of a magician with the cars. I guess he opened up the door, started it. I said, "Oh yeah." It was too late to say no, so we all jumped in, and it was from Hindley Street, just off the street of Hindley Street. So we did it Hindley, on the way up.
Crazy.
Yeah. And anyway, we went into the suburbs, Croydon suburbs, the western suburbs there. I think it was Croydon, and all of a sudden these cops tried to pull us over to put the lights, and my mate just, he was 15, 14 too. Like, I didn't even know how he learned to drive that quick, but he was driving, he put his foot down, and all I could say is thank God for the dead end, where we had to stop and get out of the car, you know, because who knows what would have happened. But cops chased us, and, you know, we all got out of the car, we started jumping fences and stuff like that. So I'll tell you this, right? I got out. I was scot-free, man. I was walking on the footpath, and I was walking. They didn't care about me, the cops. And we were going to the house, because when we jumped the backyard, the people at the house said, look, they're in here, in the house. So they were focused at going to the house. But I quickly jumped from the other side of the house into another one and got out and started walking on the footpath. I was out. I was gone. Yeah. But I turned around and I didn't see my mate. And I said to myself, nah, man, I can't do this. So I walked back and I walked into the house and the cops were there, what do you want? I said, I'm here with them. So but I couldn't leave my mates there. I felt ashamed, I guess, guilty at 14. I don't know why, but I was out of there. And because the trouble that was going to come my way with my dad was heavy, but I accepted it. And I went back, and that's when we got arrested for a stolen car, you know. And, that was my first one.
So you're very loyal from a young age.
I have to say yes, because, you know, the actions speak for themselves, I guess. I felt bad, but I felt like I was betraying my mate for some reason. But the cops are looking at me, and then they don't care, and they walk and they're driving past. Oh, I want to go to the 2-3 houses down. I'm out. I'm gone. All I have to do is turn the corner and run. I was out.
I've been in a very similar situation where same thing, stolen car, could have got away, went to help my mate and got charged. Do you remember what car it was?
Yeah. How can you forget? It was a VH Valiant. Brown 4-door.
That's not stereotypical, is it?
Go figure out these wog bars. Here's my French. You know, it was either a Monaro, between a Monaro or a Valiant. You know, so I guess the Valiant got there first.
Oh God.
You know, you think they would get a BMW or a Mercedes Benz or something? No, let's go Valiant.
That's funny.
But anyway, so I remember precisely brown 4-door VH Valiant.
So
no problem. I remember clearly.
So clearly that's not enough. Were you arrested?
Yeah, but I walked back, yeah.
Yeah, so you're arrested and in trouble with your dad. Clearly not enough to deter you.
Well, I don't know why, brother. I guess, you know what it is with me? I honestly, I've worked it out. I worked it out a long, long time ago. I grew up with sisters, you know?
Yep.
Tell you a quick story. My mother, she was pregnant, and I grew up with 2 sisters, and I longed for a brother. If my sister Jo is going to listen to this, she's going to kick my ass, but she loves the story. She even told the immigration about it. My mother was pregnant, and to shut me up and to not annoy her, she said to me, I said, Mum, you know, un ragazzo. No, I said to my mum, Mama, tu c'hai un fratellino, un fratello per me o una sorella. That means, Mum, have you got a brother for me or a sister?
You want a brother.
Yeah, of course. I was dying. Living with sisters, and anyway, you know the story. God bless them. But she goes for 9 months. Yeah, it's a boy. And I was excited. And so excited. I was cleaning the house. I was being good to Mum all the time. And anyway, the time comes where she's in the room. She comes back to the hospital and she's in the room cleaning the nappy. And that's the first time I've seen a baby do a flag of every country, you know? The colours were crazy. The rainbow doesn't make it, you know? But it was crazy green, yellow. I thought, wow, I've never seen anything like it. So I'm looking around to see if the middle part's hanging out, you know? The little chucholino. And I started looking. I'm looking for the little pee-pee. And I'm saying, Mum, I'll tell you in English. I said, Mum, where's the thing? He goes, what do you mean? I said, you know, un pepino, un bocciolino. Oh, no, sorry, son. She's your sister. You know when your whole world crumbles before you, crashes down? Like everything just crashed. Like there was silence. That's what it felt like for me. I swear my mum, I won't tell you what I said. I said, Mum, pop, you know, this and that. I got out and I slammed the door. I went to the lounge. I slammed the lounge door. I remember I was only probably 7 years old now. Yeah, I was 7 years old because I came there when I was 6. 9 months later, Mum had Joey, Giovanna we call it, but you know Joey because she was born in Australia. You know the Joeys, babies with kangaroos. Yeah. And I remember swearing at my mum bad, man. I felt like, Mum, this, and Mum, why you lied to me? You're a liar. You're this, you're that. How can you do that to me? I grew up later. I thought, mate, That's a pretty evil act to do, to tell your son for 9 months that you got a boy just to keep him shut, you know. God bless her. She's with me now. She's dying of stage 4 cancer. Probably only got
you said,
a week or two, if that. I think what I've been told, like maybe a week or two, if that. So put in your prayers. And so while I was walking in the lounge, I was walking up and down saying, you know, this and that. Then I realized, now we can make this work. So from that day on, I called her Joey, my brother. So when she got older, 10, 11, 12, I'd take her out with me, with my friends. I said, this is my brother Joey. My dad cut her hair really short, like a boy. And we put druggy shirts on her. Yeah, rings all over her fingers. I'm fair dinkum, brother. She looked like a boy, like a brother, you know? Yeah. And I was satisfied from 10 to 16. I had 6 years of that for her until I got arrested. And so when I introduced her to my friends, it would be, this is my brother Joey. And she was like, hey, right? So for 6 years, I got the benefits of a brother. So I was happy with that. She wasn't, because she wanted to be a girl. But she had no choice at that time. I needed therapy. So it was a funny story too, because she says it now, I've been laughing, you know, and the things we got up to and stuff like that. I remember a time when the immigration wanted to deport me when I just got out of prison, many years ago. I did my first thing. The guy put the deportation letter. This is before immigration wasn't as extreme as it now. So they sent this letter, said, look, man, you better write some letters, support letters to why you want to keep in the country. I was shocked. I mean, I'm permanent residency, but I didn't ask questions to all the kids, the white ex-wife now, but letters. And my sister Joey, she wrote this story. You can't let him go. We've got too much history together. He's very talented. He turned me into a boy, and for 5-6 years, and she was laughing about it. So that story is very personal to us. It brought us together. We bonded. So she told that, and the immigration didn't deport me because of the support letter. So it was good.
So we'll get down to that, the deportation. So going back to, like, so you've knocked off this car, and that wasn't enough to deter you. So you kept getting into trouble, right? I guess what I want to know, and what I'm sure a lot of the listeners want to know, is how quickly did that accelerate, and when did you really get into it and join a club? Why did you join? What's the allure? You know, and then, you know, so what's happened? You've knocked off this car.
It excelled. Yeah. It excelled from there, because, you know, like I said to you before, all I wanted was brothers, you know, and brotherhood. Have brothers to hang out with, you know, not sisters. I had this twitch on my ear that is what I longed for. I really did. And, you know, enemies or ex-friends or friends and family, they can vouch for that. That's all I wanted. It wasn't about the money for me. I'll get to that in a minute. But I just wanted to be part of having brothers, you know, friends. And when the crew started getting bigger and more, you know, we all loved each other. You know, hey, brother, we'll do this for each other. We'll always fight together. And we'll always win too, because we were, well, unless we were the best in our heads, I don't know. But at that time, we were the upcoming little crews, you know, when you're born in at 15, we're all fighters. I remember one guy, his name was, one brother, his name was Charlie Owais, he was Lebanese. It was just a natural born fighter, you know. We became best friends, and I've actually got his tattoo initialed on my chest at 14. And it says Charlie Owais and Enzo Focarelli. He was meant to get the same tattoo, Enzo Focarelli, Charlie Owais, right? With the ZZ Top lightning in the middle. And I remember Four Roses with Les. Big Les was there at Four Roses.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, you remember Les? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And Four Roses.
You ended up having that shop.
Yeah, I ended up having that shop. Yeah, look at the irony in that, right? Yeah. And I got the tattoo, and Les used to call me Gonzo, not Enzo, you know? And a cheeky bugger. And while I was getting this tattoo done, Charlie was making me laugh, but a crazy laugh. Like I said, would you stop, man? He's got a needle in my chest. It was killing me. It was my first tattoo. And if you see how small it is, I'm even embarrassed to talk about it, the pain, you know? So it's really small. And I said, when I'm finished, I said, it's your turn. He goes, yeah, about that. He goes, Mum said I can't, man. I said, what? He goes, I said, when did you find that out? He said, before. And you didn't stand in there getting me the tattoo, right? Oh, drama. We got arguing. I was about to go home, but he was laughing, took me by the we were best friends. And when I went to the lady shop, he goes, Enzo, because she was like my second mum, Enzo, no tattoo for Charlie. You get tattoo? I said, no, Mum, where are you going? I didn't get no tattoo. Chest is hurting, bleeding, you know. So, but she was my second mum. and I wanted to respect her. So yeah. But when I was 14, is when it started happening for me. I started hanging around in Harley Street at the Lebanese Shazlik Euros place across the road from Rio's. Remember Rio's?
Yep.
Called Red Square now.
Red Square, yeah.
And Tony Tropiano, the owner there, he was a good man. He used to watch me and take me for coffees down the road and said, "It's better to go home than you think." I said, "Yeah, I know, Tony, but because I know your father, you know." I said, "My dad, because him and my father were friends. They grew a relationship together out of respect. Really, he really respected my father, so he felt inclined, like it was his responsibility to look out for me." Yeah. And I said to him, "Look out for me. Just let me get into the Rios and put me in the corner, you know." And he did that. He looked out. Yeah. Instead of go home, I wanted to go to Rios, but he did. He let me in, and he said to the bodyguards back then, and look out for my nephew. If the cops come, let him back outside the back door, and 1, 2, 3. Even Crazy Horse, by the madam there. I remember going down there with my cousin, and this is where it started. I'll tell you a quick story. We were walking down Harley Street, me and my mate, a couple of mates, and we walked past Crazy Horse, and this big giant was there, a security guard. And I said to them, "Let's go in, come on." "Wow, you're crazy, look at the size." No, we're 14, by the way, 15 I was, right? Yeah. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you can't, you're underage." I said, "So what?" Remember, by then I broke every rule. I didn't care for some reason. The rules didn't apply to me. So if I was underage, it didn't apply to me. It was that. I mean, if that was arrogance, fair enough. But I felt that I didn't belong in that part of the neck of the woods. I belonged in the one where I'm allowed to go in, you'll see. And I had such a chip on my shoulder, I was really fast with my hands. If I had a fight, I'd throw 20 punches. The guy would just get a fat lip. I was really skinny. If you shot me, you'd miss, back then. But I went to walk into a Crazy Horse, and the bouncer goes, "Come on, you can't come in." I said, "Move your hand out of the way." I looked at my mates. They turned white, about to faint. I said, "Don't touch me." I was, "Listen, little man." I said, "Don't you dare call me little man," right? Anyway, on the stairs, upstairs, there was two women. One was topless, whatever, and the other one was all dressed in black. I remember black hair running down. I found out later she was the madam. She was an older lady, a more mature woman. And she's looking at me and watching the scuffle, me trying to take on this giant. So it must have amused her. I don't know. So she set the other lady down and said to the bouncer, "Let him go." And so we went up, and I looked at him. I said, so I gave him a look, and I looked at my friends and said, "Let's go." And they couldn't believe it. So we went upstairs, and the madam goes, "Who are you?" I said, Miguel Enzo. Took her hand. That gentleman look. I kissed her on the hand, and I looked at her. She goes, "Oh, a little gentleman, right? Yeah, 15, mind you." And she goes, "Okay, no worries. Get him a table over there." So they got us a table right in front of the stage, 3 of us. My mate goes, "You're off your head." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're just crazy, man." I said, "Look, man, why can't we be here?" She said yes. "Who is he downstairs?" "He works for her." So, I was being cheeky. And I remember I wasn't interested in what was on the stage because something caught my eye behind me. And there was this dancer on the table dancing for this guy. But what caught my eye was what he was wearing. He was wearing a Hell's Angel patch. Yeah. And I looked, I thought, yeah. I remember his name. His name was and I said to my mates, I said, "Look, man, I'm going to go over there and offer him a drink." They grabbed my hand, both of them, and said, "Enzo, please, can we just leave?" I looked at him, I said, "Mom, what is your problem?" But he goes, "Why do you have to go over there?" I said, "Well, why not?" I said, "But leave the guy alone." I said, "No, get your hands off me, leave me alone." I said, so I went up to I said, "Excuse me, I'm Enzo," because people call me Vince now, I said, "I'm Enzo, I'd like to offer you a drink." And he goes, "No, I'm okay, thank you." I said, "I know that, but let me offer you a drink anyway, and then I'm on my way." He goes, "Okay." I remember his drink too, Ouzo and Coke, and I got him an Ouzo and Coke. I said, "Thank you." He goes, "No, thank you." And I sat down. That was it. But back then, those colours, they attracted me, that lifestyle. And I think that's when it started, the little itch.
Okay, so that's really segues into what I was saying. So why did you join? What was the first club you joined? Weren't you a Comanchero?
Okay, first club. Let me see. How do we do this? First involved in a lot of street gangs. We put together at 16 years old, myself and the Lebanese brother, Charlie. We became the leaders of a gang we made up. It was called DFP. Damn, Effin, fucking FUC, Effin, Psychos. Yeah. P being the silence, Yeah. So DFP, we made T-shirts. DSP, down the T-shirt city. You know, T-shirt city just down the road behind
Yeah,
the street, on the corner.
man.
We went down there and I checked around and saw these wolves. Like it said they're leader of the pack. So we took the leader of the pack out and had the wolf with the blood coming out the front, and all the pack was following him. And I said, we'll have this T-shirt, take the leader of the pack on, and just put DFP on the back. So they had this wolf at the front, the wolves at the back, DFP on the back of our T-shirts. And at the front, we'll have our initials. I'll have BF, the other brother will have CO. And we had about 30 strong at 16, wearing all these T-shirts. And I think if you look in the archives, we turned the city upside down, man. We made the news. I was banned. We were banned from north, east, south, northeast, southwest terrace for 2 years, but we kept going in there and causing drama, I guess. I don't know, we were kids. But, that was my first gang ever. We made T-shirts just to confirm, you know.
But so you wanted your own crew to begin with, or you still wanted to be in the MC?
No. Of course. But how are you going to get in an MC at 16 years old? I still saw the reality of things. I hung around with remember all those main guys at Rio's, you know, and I looked up to them. It was funny, man. Me and was hung out together, and I would watch them. You know, he had the Think patch on and stuff like that. So there was different crews, hung out with different people, but you know, you saw that they were confident in what they were doing, and people, you know, I mean, back then things were different with the clubs as well, you know, and it was a bit more quieter, you know, and not as loud and in your face and active as it is now. I mean, the younger generation now, you know, they're not shy to publicly, which is wrong. It's wrong, you know, but you know, it's not shy to publicly bash, stab, shoot, or whatever. Having said that, there are some incidents that can't be helped. If a guy hits you or shoots at you or whatever the case may be, you have to retaliate or kill or be killed. Like, I get that. But like, if it happens instinctively, but if it's caused by you getting up and going over there and causing drama, that's wrong. You know, you have women and children around and stuff like that. So, so that back then was a little more. In fact, to be honest with you, the boys, if they were in the pub, there'll be two clubs there, and two guys didn't get along. The clubs won't move. Those two boys will go at the back and punch it on. That was it. Go, get it off your chest, go at the back, boom, 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 and then they'll come back and everyone's drinking. One's got a black eye, the other's got a broken nose. So they'll go drinking. You know, it only got serious between two club members if, you know, like it got really serious back then with life-threatenings and whatever. But back then it was more simple, guys. You know, I used to be at the falafel house working at the Lebanese shop across the road of Rio's, and my friend was just 2 doors down. And Rosina Street, remember Rosina Street? I remember one of the mob shooters.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. That's
one of the mob shooters. Yeah. I think they turned warlords after, I'm not sure. But one of the mob shooters with a other guy, his name was, he owned Z Club or something, Z Club, whatever it was. And I remember they were having a bit of a quarrel in front of a tattoo shop, you know. And next thing you know, they're both walking at the back up Rosina Street. They went to the corner and started punching on. A few seconds later, you see their heads come out and on the street and then back into the corner, you know? And then they'll come back. You should see them, T-shirt ripped, jumpers ripped, bleeding a little bit, but that was it.
Still alive.
And they walked back down. Yeah, but they walked back down together. It was over.
Yeah, that's how it should be, man.
Exactly.
Yo, today's episode is brought to you by Box Kids Boxing Gym. Their message to the youth is you want to be respected, you don't need to be a gangster, you need to learn how to fight. Everyone respects a fighter. Special focused kids lessons, private female lessons, and general mixed classes. So if you're looking for fitness, friendships, and fun, Hummer and the boys down at Campbellfield, Victoria will sort you out. Don't club up, glove up. Head over to Box Kings 01 on Instagram. That's BoxKingz01. A team of professional fighters and active boxers on board, you're in the right hands. BoxKingz01. Hit up Hummer, he'll point you in the right direction. I know you were in Comancheros, and Comancheros weren't big in Adelaide. Right. So
you want to get straight there? Okay. So
who did you club up with?
First, we made the New Boys. Remember the New Boys?
I thought New Boys came after. I thought you broke away.
No.
All right, let's go. Let's rip into this. This is the
Okay.
chunk. Yeah.
So what happened? I was prospecting for the Hells Angels,
Okay.
and I found out real quick what sort of nature that is. You know, that sort of lifestyle. And
What, nomming? Nomming or the whole fucking lot?
No, the whole scenario, brother.
Okay.
The whole thing, man.
Yeah.
It's not what people think. That's not a brotherhood, brother. You know, there's no loyalty in that sort of lifestyle. But having said that, I found out real quick where that was, and I was, to be honest with you, I was sad a little bit to witness that that's not the case. Because all my life, as I told you, I want to be part of a brotherhood, right?
Yep.
And when I saw that, I had a fight with one of the 20-year members. Had a restaurant, and I did what I had to do with him. Then they kicked him out. I don't think they wanted any drama with myself and who I was with at that time. So they knew that he was the instigator, the troublemaker. He didn't have to. He was told not to by myself as well. He chose to be the aggressor, and he found out pretty soon that where he stood at that time in the fight and where he stood with the club. So
he stepped to you, and it went pear-shaped for him. Yeah.
Very much.
Yep.
In both, with myself and the club. So
Yep.
When that happened, of course, we made New Boys, and the New Boys means out with the old and in with the new, right?
Yep.
That was our sort of mindset concept.
And was very fucking huge in Adelaide at the time. Very.
It was big, man. We had 200 plus of lads running around wild without the leashes on or without the
lot of media
like free horse.
I remember seeing you. I remember fucking seeing you going, fucking Jesus.
Bro, everyone was
out of control.
Yeah, we were. You know what was the only good thing? We weren't structured, and we found out through the grapevine the coppers couldn't surveillance us. They didn't know where we had no clubhouse. Mm-hmm. No place to talk. We were everywhere. We had shops. We'll have a meeting quickly, and then we went to this place. And we had, it depends. If we hang around here, hey, call the boys so we can have a drink. But before we do, let's go down here, have a quick chat. This week, brothers, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, gone. So it was hard for them to structure. And the thing too was Cambodians and Vietnamese and Greeks and Italians.
You were letting everyone in, weren't you?
Yeah, Aboriginals. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
What does it have to be a certain race? We weren't racist.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter the religion or...
So, traditionally, clubs were very Anglo.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Until they realised the authenticity and what they brought to that life, the staunchness, or the Lebos, the Samoans, the Kiwis, Maoris, right? And, of course, Chocos, which is us as well. The Muslims, mainly as well, brother, very heavy. They realised that we were tight-knit. And when it came to being a little bit staunch, let's be pious about it, we weren't shy. Yep. So now they started recruiting, especially in Sydney, we started recruiting the Libos, we call them three balls, So our brothers over there. And of course, the Maoris, and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I still, a few clubs were Anglo-Saxons still, they didn't believe in that sort of stuff, and maybe to their defense is probably good because we're calling us Nike Bikey.
Yep.
Because
I remember that term.
Because we're a new generation. We're clean. Like when I say clean, we were fashionable, I guess, and we like this.
Not even necessarily on a Harley.
No. I mean, the Harleys. You didn't ride a Harley every day, but you wanted to wear your colours.
Yeah.
Every day. So, but with that, you have to dress. I mean, some of us want to dress a little bit more fashionable, clean, and stuff like that. So I think that's the change of the era became more.
We're stepping away from that fat bearded bikey.
Yeah, dirty jeans that weren't washed for 6 months, and RMs and things like that. But it started becoming like the movie Fast and the Furious, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
The bikie world, and with the Comancheros, Mick Howie was a very good mate of mine. Sad to see him go, but with the Comos, it was like this. When we detached, when I detached from the Hells Angels and got the New Boys happening for 2 years, we did what we had to do, and I didn't realise that it was getting noticed interstate with other crews.
Mm-hmm.
I was offered by the Mongols. Mongols were offered us, the Finks offered us, and but I had this real passion of love, not love, attraction to the Comanchero patch. I don't know why. And plus, there was Muslims there, and the head of the commerce was Muslim. I was Muslim then. I think all of that attracted me more than any other.
You were Muslim back then, were you?
Yeah, I became Muslim. I was a Muslim back then, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
When you say back then, brother, are you calling me old?
Yes. I think we're the same age, bro. We're the same age.
How old are you now?
I'm 44.
Okay, you're 2 years younger than me.
I didn't know you were Muslim when you were active in this world.
But I said Shahada, but I was very ignorant on the knowledge because
okay.
There's no such thing as a gangster and a Muslim. You can't be both. A Muslim is the one that submits his whole self to Allah and is purified, cleansed, and does the right thing. Being a gangster, not praying and doing the wrong thing, you can't be a Muslim. Everything good is to be a Muslim, compassionate, respectful, kind, forgiving, charitable, always helping. No racism in our bones at all. I mean, Islam will cut away any racism. That's a fact, And it does. You can't. Allah says in the Quran, "I've created you colors and creeds, nations and tribes, so you can get to know each other." There's no. It also says there's no Arab superior to a non-Arab. There is not a black man superior to a white man, or a white man superior to a black man, or a non-Arab superior to an Arab. If that doesn't tell you there's no racism in religion, nothing will,
I agree.
So we're equal, everyone. Brother, we're part of one nation, one ummah community, It doesn't matter race or creed or religion.
So Dave, I'm a little bit baffled here. I thought you broke away from the Comancheros to do New Boys. So you broke away from the Angels and started the New Boys, and then people are watching. So then the Comancheros are watching you, or other clubs.
Other clubs.
They see potential. They see potential in you as a earner, recruiter, a member.
For us to join them, first of all, I said to them, I didn't feel comfortable joining the club. I was happy with the New Boys, and so they said, "Oh, why don't you stay with us as an off club? I think be our allies." I said, "Why don't you be our allies?" I said, "How's that?" I said, I said to them, we're our own people. We're friends. We've got friends in the club. If you need us, and it's what we want, no problem. We'll help you guys. Not an issue. We were alliance with them. I didn't join the club though. I could have. I said no.
Any club? Then any of these clubs you could have.
The things asked the Mongols from Sydney when they first come out. Well, my friend said I had a chat with the guy, one of the national president at that time, and hey Vince 1 2 3. I said, okay, no problem. Just let me think about it. We'll have a chat more and so forth. His approach and his offer was very alluring. Let's say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while I was making a decision on them, then I made a decision. I said, let's go Mongol, okay, no problem. Boom. Get this phone call from the Comancheros. One of my mates goes, "I just got a phone call from the Comancheros." I said, "Oh yeah, are you serious?" I said, "Yeah. You mean Mick Howe, everyone?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Hold up on the Mongol thing. They want to come and visit you in Adelaide. Just have a listen to what they got to say." So they did. The next day they came down. They flew down straight away. I had a meeting with them at a mate's restaurant upstairs, and
that happened to be an Asian restaurant.
Nah. It was an Italian restaurant. It was Italian restaurant upstairs. I remember precisely. It was St. George in Rundle Street. And they had I love the patch. I got them picked up by our boys. Got there. They came there with their colours, Comancheros. They played the part well, And I sat down there by myself. I had one of my lads sit in the corner there, and we were negotiating with the two presidents, one from Sydney, one from Melbourne. And they said, Vince, we've been following your story for 2 years. I said, okay. I said, well, you've held yourself tight-lipped. I said, yeah, of course, no problem. And this is the reason why we're here. So, they had their interest in me for 2 years. They just wanted to make sure that we're not talky, like the walkie-walkie.
You're the real deal.
Yeah. And
wait, what the fuck? What is that like, man? Having a meeting like that? what's having power? I know a few members. I know how intimidating some of them could be. What is that like having that meeting? What's the anxiety levels on that? And like, are you scared? Are you paranoid? What's going on in your head when people that powerful are coming to you asking you that?
Yeah. I hope I don't disappoint you. You know, when you're at the beach and the breeze, this beautiful breeze at the end of the night when the sun's setting, and you feel this breeze coming through, you think, you find that peace.
Yeah.
And you feel confident enough to just sit there and, you know, the waves are not going to override you, you know, because you're just there knowing that everything is put into place.
Yeah.
I felt more confident than that. And the breeze, I was the one dictating.
Yeah.
I said they offered me 1, 2, 3. I felt like it was my life. I felt I belonged. It was normal for me. It was natural. I never felt intimidated. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared in any way or intimidated. I knew that the Comoros at that time, and this is not a joke, were the most feared. All other clubs feared them, and I don't care what other clubs say, mate. It was just a fact. And Mick Howie made sure of that, and his crew. Yeah. So I was excited because, you know, not nervous or anything. I was just excited. I thought, wow, man, you know. But they offered me some. I won't tell you what they did and structured because it's not my place. It's tacky to talk about it. But let's say this. They said, we're interested in you, man. You know, let's do this. I said, yeah, I've been interested in you guys too. No problem. I said, what do you got to offer? They said, we'll do this, and that. I said, no. I said, what? They looked at me and said, what? I said, no. You're going to have enough. You have to do this, and that. I said, you do that? Because I had my boys too. There was about 6 of us, 8 of us tight.
Yeah.
And, you know, for a few to go in straight away, not the others, I didn't want in, you know. So in other words, they offered 4 patches to start the club, I'll be honest with you. And I said, no. He goes, what do you mean this? I said, no, there's 6 of us. If 6 of us can't go in, I don't want in. So remember that fence? When I jumped, the cop was driving down. And I turned around and went back to my mate. Well, there it is there, look.
Yeah, your loyalty.
Yeah.
Keeps coming back.
He followed me back. Yeah, of course, brother. You don't, brother, you are who you are.
Yep.
You know, money doesn't make people. People make money.
Correct.
But sometimes when people make money, it changes them. For me, it wasn't like that. I knew they were the most richest club. I knew they were the most powerful club. It didn't bother me. I said no. I can't accept. He goes, what do you mean, Vince? What do you want from us? I said, I want 6. They said, we can't do that. It's a club. Rules that we did before.
They just wanted you.
Start off. No, but it's club rule. No, it was really a club rule.
Okay.
They couldn't see. They couldn't show the others that they showed preference.
Yep. Fair cool.
I said, I can't accept. I'm sorry. The Mongols offered me 10. I said, how's that one? I said, you know, and he goes, look, we can't because it's a club rule. He goes, but we'll give you 6 minutes. Just keep it too tight-lipped, please. I said, no worries. So all the boys got in.
So did you have to nom? Did you have to nom, or you just full patch member?
No, I told them they knew that from the start. I said, don't bother coming down. I said to them, if you think we're nomming.
Yeah.
I said, don't bother, because it's not going to happen. So when they came down, it wasn't for nomming, you know. It was strictly patch up, straight off the bat.
Straight in.
I think, yeah. But you got to keep in mind that they were observing us or me and whatever for 2 years. You know, that's pretty much prospecting for them. Not to court, not speaking. You know, taking on the biggest club in the world, not running. You know, doing a lot of damage and stuff like that, and still holding tight and firm. So that pretty much was prospecting for them, regardless. You know. Yeah. And with me saying I'm not going to prospect, they had to take that into consideration. Right?
Yeah, fair call.
Because they wanted South Australia for their agenda. And who would have been? And the thing was, it was a 5-club state. You know, the Hells Angels, the Finks, the Rebels, the Gypsy Jokers, and the Mentors. Did I say Dementors? Oh, Descendants. Dementors. And
Descendants.
And it was Dementors, Dementia, and they got together 30 years over, and said, look, let's stick together. Don't let any other clubs in. So you know, nobody eats from us. You know, the bread is ours, and we share it, sort of thing, right? That was a tight rule between all of them. Like, it wasn't a joke. When the Bandidos tried to come in, they all got together. I mean, the Finks stood back because they were allies with them, but they didn't get involved. So and the Jokers, the Angels, they all kicked them out. So it was a set rule, set law between them that they agreed on. Any other club comes in, we have to, you know, get them out. They combined forces, and they did. They did. I was there. I was part of it. I saw it with my own eyes. And now I got the Commos in. And far out, man. I got I go to be president, state president, and the next day the newspaper, unless my phone was tapped, brother, which probably most cases was, it hit the paper that I was the. Yeah, bro. I never said anything to anyone, but the paper got to a front page as usual. Vince Focarelli, the new state president of the Comancheros. And it was 8 o'clock in the morning. I remember I was in bed, man, because I had a bit of a late night or whatever. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a Friday. It was a Saturday morning, and I got a phone call from a phone call from a rebel mate. I got a phone. I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" He goes, "Is it true? Is it true, bro? What's true? You're calling me. What's true?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Are you the state president of Comoros?" I said, "Yeah, why? What's the problem?" He goes, "No, nothing, man. I'm just going to congratulate you." I said, "Oh, cheers." Hung up. So 3 phone calls. I thought to myself, but how do these boys know?
Yeah. Fuck.
How do they know? Yeah, newspaper everywhere, articles. Really, people started saying you're on the paper, bro. So that was on the paper. So it didn't take long, did it? 12 hours.
Because the Commos weren't in Adelaide before that.
No. They were,
and they
not at all.
traditionally going back were like up against the Bandidos. Like, you know, that's common knowledge. The Commos and Bandidos weren't really close. And
yeah, that was back in the Milpira massacre.
Jock Ross days.
Jock. I've never met the guy, but you know he's still alive, so he must be doing something right. And but Jock was good friends with Mick Howie, so. But having said that, the time we're talking about is the Nike bikies. You know, just now we're talking about people that are successful in their finances and things like that. And
So how were you accepted by? So obviously you got mates in every, you know, you got mates with the Finks, the Rebs, the Mongols were just starting to come in. Jokers, I don't know, felt like Jokers were kind of on their way out. How were you accepted by these other clubs that you're bringing this new charter into chapter?
Well, that's the thing. The Angels got excited. They said, you know. They went to the committee meeting. They said, you know, now is the time to get this guy out because he's got big combos and we should look. Because the boys told me that they went to a meeting. And they didn't want to borrow it. All the others said, look, we're friends with the guy, man, and we're not going to do anything. Yeah, but what about the law? I said, what about it? You go do something, you know?
What law? What law? You absconding from the club? Is that what you mean?
No, brother. It's a 5-club state law. They put it together many years ago. They got together. The presidents of each club got together and said, right, there's 5 of us in the state of Adelaide, South Australia. Yeah. We can't let any other clubs from any other state, like Bandos or anyone. If anyone comes in, we get together and we kick them out. And that was the case. Every time a club tried to get in, like a Bandos, that's what they did. They combined forces and kicked them out. Yeah. They didn't do that with me.
I think I remember reading about that in an old book.
Yeah. The media got onto it. Said, "Oh no, it's going to be a bikie war." 5 clubs. The clubs are not happy. Well, which club's not happy? Because they came and Phoenix Rebels. They came and congratulated me at the tattoo shop. So I don't know what the paper was talking about. They congratulated me for my position, and that was it. And you know, we did what we did, and then it went pear shaped with them. And after that, obviously, I can't remember now. I think after that, I lost. I got shot a few times extra from the other times. So I was up to 5 times. So different occasions on point.
Before we go there, because I've got these questions lined up. So, all right. So let's summarize. You're the president of the fucking Commos in Adelaide.
No swearing, young man.
Oh, Jesus. I can edit.
Okay. Okay. Done.
You're the president of the Commos in Adelaide. All right?
Yes.
You're running tattoo parlors. You're all over the shop, man. You're all over the news. All you're hearing is Vince Focarelli. Now, there's been several attempts on your life. How many? All up? 6? All up 6?
All up. About, with the bombing 6, I think so.
The bombing.
Let's say 5.
All right. Can you talk us through some of them, mate, and why you think, without incriminating yourself, without causing yourself any anxiety or any dramas, can you talk about what's going on and what is it like to live knowing that someone wants you dead?
So
what's the first one?
I can't really remember, to be honest. But I can tell you. I can't remember.
Vince,
Honestly.
when you've had so many attempts on your life, you can't remember the first one.
I can't.
You're
I
a
can't. Let me
bad
see. Oh, the
MF,
first one.
man.
Okay, the first. Let's see. Maybe I didn't care so much, you know.
So what are you
I
doing?
think the first one was
You drug dealing. You stand over. You're involved with guns. You got tattoo shops. You're a
I never stood over.
You're not.
I never stood over anyone.
Not a standover man.
No. I did collect stuff, but that was from ugly people that didn't brush their teeth and wash their jeans.
Fair call. Fair call.
Yeah.
So is it fair?
Is
it fair to say, and be aware that after the program we'll talk about editing. So it's fair to say you're a drug dealer. You.
Yeah, absolutely. I was involved in that. Yeah.
You're involved in making money in illegal ways, and
yes, no problem. Everyone knows that.
So I'm not. You're going to attract this attention. You're out there. You're knocking people's teeth out left, right, and centre. So people, who's trying to shut you down in these first attempts? Who's trying to take you out, man?
Cops.
Cops.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
There were, but the first one was I shot point blank range, but it hit my arm, my biceps. He owed me a bit of ching ching.
Yeah.
There was a lot, and I went there.
Another criminal.
Yeah. It was a bikie club, or a member of a club, and I went there because he kept delaying and stuff. And I went there. I said, right, when I come there, 1, 2, 3. So he was prepared. He had this gate in front of his house, like near the door, like a prison bars, like that.
Yep.
And then he had the door and stuff like that. So when he came out, he had some, like, as soon as he came out, from his back, like it was like a 22 son off,
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled up with boom, like that. It was just quick, and he hit my arm, and I remember going to the left and running on the side and jumping the fence because my car was parked directly in front of his door. So I had to get into the car, and I looked at him when I got to the car because I was bleeding. I said, right, I went and I did the action under my neck. I'm finished.
As in, you're gone. I'll have you cut your throat.
Yeah, next month. Yeah, like when we did that with a finger on the throat. You did.
Yep.
And I did that to him, and I took off to the hospital. He gets arrested, and he said he was going around the prison saying that I made a statement and this and that, which backfired on him because the boys in there knew me, a couple of little things and stuff like that. And they said to him, "You better retract what you're saying." Oh, blah blah blah. So, well, where's the statement? Because in prison, if you make these claims, you have to provide.
Can I just stop you there? You had a bit of a cutout. Did you say he put you on the dog? Said you made a statement?
Yeah. And it backfired on him because in the division, there's where you feed the little trap. You put the food on them, close the door.
Yep.
He was in there. He was locked in there for some reason. I don't know why, but. One of the boys, that Trink member, was close friends of mine. He goes, brother, you better retract from the little guy because we know for a fact there's nothing like that. And without the statement, 1, 2, 3, and he got close to the trap and he went, bang, knocked him clean out in there, and he found out real quick. Yeah, he found out real quick that in prison you don't go around. And I didn't write the statement because if I did, his lawyer would have it.
Yeah.
and that because you have to. You
got to have paper.
The opposite. Yeah, the lawyer. If you did make a statement against someone, your lawyer, defense lawyer, by law, has to give it to them.
Yeah.
They have to have a copy of this. And so he couldn't provide one. But anyway, a couple of weeks, he didn't come out of his cell a couple of weeks after he got bail. But the thing is, he got arrested because at the front of his house, the neighbor was watering the garden. He saw him shoot me. Dumbass. So that's why he got arrested. And he was, and the media was there. They got him on TV. And he was pretending he was getting an epileptic fit, shaking like that.
Yeah, right.
But they arrested him. But the guy in front of him, because I wanted to find out how did he get arrested, and he goes, because the guy got interviewed on the news. He goes, oh yeah, I saw this guy and blah blah blah, and I saw the bank because they were arguing and boom. So the guy called the police, and the media was there too, and that's why he got arrested. So in the evidence, it was this guy's statement saying that he shot him. But me, and the charges were dropped because I didn't press charges. So he got away with it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so that's the first one. How old are you then? Pretty young still?
no, I was...
This all happened pretty
Probably,
quick. All these attempts happened pretty...
Yeah, within 2 years. Within a year, 2 years. Oh, 2 years, yeah.
So you got
The last one when I lost my boy.
You got shot a few times. So what about the bombing? Where was that? What happened there? Is that your car?
No, what happened there was, I remember coming back. You know, it's really funny because I'm not a deep sleeper. I find it hard to get, it takes time for me to fall asleep. And then I'm a very light sleeper. I can hear an ant walking on the wall. Like, I'm a very light sleeper. Yeah, bro. And doing 11 and a half years of prison in jail, especially out there.
Yeah.
The screws there, when they come every 2 hours to check up on you, they put a flashlight into the glass hole there so they can see you. So that wakes you up.
Nice
Plus,
guys,
they weren't shy to... very, very nice guys. We love them. We want to give a shout out to the screws of Yalla. But even the key, a couple of them are okay, a couple out of all of them. And then the keys, there's got 152.2 million keys on one thing, right?
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ching when they walk. Ka-ching, ching. And a lot of the prisoners, shut up, hold the keys, blah, blah, blah. So they got a kick out of it. So every 2 hours, I get up to go to the toilet. Even now, it's conditioned in me.
Yeah.
So the sleep pattern was, well, not institutionalized, just on the sleep pattern. You know?
Yep.
I'd rather be free than in a prison, but believe me.
Yep.
But that was So I was a light sleeper. So I come back from the tattoo shop, and it's about 5:15. I go straight to bed, you know, and I'm knocked out because at 5:35, my ex-wife goes, Enzo, a bomb just went off. I sort of laughed. I said, "Are you for real? Are you playing games? Out of all things you could have picked to wake me up, you talk about a bomb." I said, we had a Great Dane. His name was Goliath, and he'll jump on the fence to see it. Like he's big, like a Great Dane, and boom, he'll make noise. I said, that's Goliath. He's trying to get on the fence. He goes, no, I'm the boss. So leave me alone. I didn't even hear it, brother. First time in my life, I actually had a deep sleep. So Allah, God, just kept me at peace, kept me at ease. And I remember waking up in the morning, sending the kids off to school because my mum picked them up. They walked down to the school, you know, and helicopters. You know, when there's something that happened, they put all the strips around with the van, big vans, police cars, detectives. Oh, Channel 7, Channel 9. Yep. And I quickly locked the door and I said, what the hell's going on? And we thought that somebody committed suicide by gassing himself in the shed and then it just blew up. That's what I thought, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Then I get a knock on the door. Yeah, one of my lads, one of my boys, the new boys, come. He was on Home D. He broke his Home D bracelet to come down. He goes, can I come in? I said, yeah, aren't you meant to be on Home D? He goes, yeah. So what are you doing here? I'm just letting you know, those two boys were such and such from the Angels. I said, are you kidding me? What do you mean? That bomb was for you. And that's when I went feral. I said, oh, really? Okay, no worries.
So where was it?
So God allowed that.
Where was it? In the in the street, in the house? Where was the...
Yeah.
Where?
So what happened, 25 meters away from me, on a corner, you can see my house in the car there, but what happened is that when the guy grabbed the bomb, he opened his door, got out, and then leaned in and got the bomb. As soon as he picked it up, his legs, his body, his arm, his head was all over the street. You can see it from the helicopter clearly. Torso, one leg.
He died.
Did you hear what I said, brother? His head was on the other side of the street with his torso on that side, and the leg next to. Yeah, he died. If he can live without his head on there, brother, he's done the miracle. But he was finished. All his body parts, but you can see it. Arm, half a torso, and his head was just on the other side. And the other guy that was in the car, he had his belt on. His head, you can see his body there, but his head was blown off. He had no head. He had half a chest and no head. So they brother, they blew that bomb was meant to be next to my bedroom. And that would have killed me and my wife at the time. Ooh. And if there was any of the kids, sleeping with us, they would have been dead. And not just them, you know. even in the other bedroom, something would have happened, and then the trauma of getting through that with the kids if anything happened. So alhamdulillah, praise God, praise Allah that in Islam, in the Quran, it teaches us, and this is a strong belief. Allah says, if the whole world want to be against you, harm you, and Allah didn't, there's nothing the world can do, brother. This is a level of conviction of faith and deen. And some people might not understand that because they don't believe in God or they don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we do, I do, and this is just a fact for us. I've got to put it to you like this because I think you'll fade away in this. Imagine this. How many people in this world? How many billions of people in this world? Now imagine every single one of them in every country, in every state, anywhere you go, these doesn't matter. Each and individual are going to protect you.
Yeah.
They can protect you.
Yeah. But
if God didn't, there's nothing they can do. The whole world can't protect you. But if they were against you, now imagine walking outside. You're going to see people, right? They look at you, they chase you down. They want to shoot you, they want to stab you. Imagine that, the whole world. There's no way you can get, it's like a horror movie, like one of those zombie movies. You got to run. But if God wanted to protect you, there's nothing they can do. And my circumstances, alhamdulillah, praise and glory only be to Allah, the true creator and the only creator, that he was in charge and he didn't want anything to go wrong for me. So I've been shot 5 times, point blank range, half a meter away, brother. A bullet lodged in my head.
Someone's watching out for you, mate.
Yeah, brother, and I'm telling you, this religion of Islam is real. People have a stigmata about Islam because of the media, because of these wretched people like ISIS that destroyed our name, 100%. They destroyed our name, they destroyed our religion and all the rest of it.
All religion has a fucking bad name, man.
Yeah, but ISIS, brother, let me tell you something. You want to know what Islam is about? Okay, when they show you on TV that this suicide bomber killed someone, let's speak. I want to talk about something now. Allow me to speak because this is important. My religion is more important than any of this talk, believe me. Yeah. And I want to say this, right? When they show on TV, a suicide bomber went to a shopping center and killed innocent women and innocent children and innocent people. Yeah. He was a Muslim, right? Yeah. Of course, you're going to think that Islam is an extremist religion and a fanatical extremist.
But so do Christians go and rape little boys.
Exactly, and let's not even get into that one because that's hardcore, right? And they get the best of the best treatment, right?
Part 2, Vince. Part 2.
I don't know, man. We can dabble into that one and tell you what. But look, I'll tell you something. I'm not here to discriminate. Any Christian that does individual criminal acts shouldn't reflect on the religion of Christianity, because religion of Christianity is a beautiful religion, because they do believe in the one God, different to us that they pray to Jesus, peace and blessing be upon him. We love our Christian brothers and sisters, and we love the religion of Christianity apart from the part where they pray to other deities. That's all the differences, because at the end of it, Jesus Christ, peace and blessing be upon him, was one of our beloved prophets' messages in Islam. And the Bible, the Injil, a true Muslim can't call himself a Muslim if he doesn't believe in the Torah, the Psalms, the Injil, the Quran. These are all words from God. The reason that the Injil, the Gospel, has been altered over the years, so it's hard to stand by it now. That's the only thing that I might be discriminative of. So we have to live in harmony, in peace, tranquility, no racism. It doesn't matter religion or creed. This is important for the humanity side of things. They took that away from us and made us look like we're warmongers. We're racist. We're not racist.
Well, that's just culture, isn't it? That's culture. And I agree with you.
That's barbaric.
I agree with you. Being in white Australian, I agree with you. I see all the hatred towards Muslim and all that.
Yeah. So
I'm not a religious
my advice
man.
to you.
I'm not a religious man
myself, not yet.
But I see.
Well, I'll send you some videos.
You're gonna convert me, but I grew up Christian, and then I spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. I really love Buddhists, the way Buddhists live, and I've met a lot of Muslims. I'm yet to meet a horrible Muslim, because I do Muay Thai, and when I go over to Muay Thai camps, 95% of my trainers and friends I meet over there are Muslim, and they're not horrible people, and it's a stigma it's a stigma that is pushed through the media, which we'll get down. We'll get to.
Yeah.
I've got a big asterisk next to the word media here, but let me pull you back.
Okay.
Let me pull you back, right? Let me pull you back. I appreciate that, and this is as much your forum as mine, and I'm happy that you shared that with us. So, that's some pretty scary stuff with the bombing. A question I do have here, and again, this is Vince. This is probably going to be sensitive. Can you talk us through the night of the last assassination attempt, where extremely, and I'm so sorry for your loss, and it is extremely unfortunate that Giovanni lost his life.
That's okay.
Right, and I'm very, 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 very sorry that happened. Can you talk us, people? I want to know. People want to know. I believe that the media sensationalized it and told their version of it. Can you tell us about that night and what happened? What you were doing? Did you know something was up? You know, were you already paranoid? You'd had a lot going on. There's 5 attempts by now. Did you see it coming? How did the police treat you directly after that? I did see one interview about you driving down Prospect Road, and the police were kind of like, So do you?
Yeah, man.
Do you
absolutely.
Do you mind talking about that night? I know it's very hard for you, but do you mind telling us about what happened?
No, look, but I, of course, it's hard to talk about it, especially when the thoughts get deep into that mindset where you remember things, But I'm happy to talk about it. I feel that it's a sense of therapy for me, a sense of honouring my boy.
If we talk about Giovanni, we keep him alive, I believe.
Absolutely, and believe me, mate. If I had to talk about Giovanni and his little antics, we'll make a book out of that. So I'm a cheeky little boy, but cheeky man. But I've got a bone to pick with him, to be honest with you. He got up there. He got up there before me, So when I see him, I'm a bit jealous, to be honest.
So what happened? What happened that night, mate?
I had to catch up with this demon, this person. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm over it to a sense, of course, of forgiving because of my religion. But there's always a place there where, I don't have to forgive him. I have the right not to forgive him.
That's one.
I choose to sucker.
That's also a question I have: is do you have forgiveness?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So anyway, I went. Yeah, of course. Little did I know there was a $900,000 hit on me. I didn't know.
900,000.
Yeah, it was 900,000. I'm sure it was. I know the guy that. Yeah. It was. Let's just leave it like that. If it was more or less, I doubt it was less. But if it was more, then maybe more. But I don't know. But I know for sure that it was around 900,000. And I guess they wanted the job done once and for all, But God, Allah had other plans. He wasn't meant to be with me. They didn't know that he was meant to be with me. They thought I was probably on my own. But I remember. I was already shot 2 weeks before that. I was shot in the leg. Remember that incident in the south?
Yep.
And so, excuse me. I was already shot 2 weeks ago. But this meeting was to deal with certain illegal activities and whatnot. And to a point where I would have retired, to be honest with you. But I went to this meeting and I left. And Johnny, I said, stay here. He said, no, but I'm going to come. I said, you sure? Yeah, all right, let's go. And I found out later when I got out of jail that the mother goes, she tried to stop him. I don't want you to go with Dad. I don't want you to go. Stay here. It's dangerous. And he's never said no to his mum. Never, ever in his life. He's probably the best kid that a parent could ever have, and even his siblings.
So he wasn't a club member?
Yeah, I made a comrade. We left that as well.
Yep.
But he was, as a kid, man. Honestly, as a son, to any parents, they would have sold their kids to have him. He's such a beautiful young man, respectful, loyal, kind. He loved his mum so much, you know, that he never said shut up to her, never said no. In fact, brother, when we used to come back from the tattoo shop, I was dead to the world 4, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'd go to bed, and then before I sat down, I saw the light in the kitchen with the door shut. And I'll go there and I'll open the door, and Johnny's doing the dishes. I said, Johnny, what are you doing? Get to bed. He goes, no, it's okay, Dad. I just got to clean up here so Mum doesn't get up to this mess. I said, but who did it? Oh, the girls. You see how much of a good kid he is, you know? And he did that for his mum, a flat stick. So going back to your question, we went there. We started driving. I found it a bit weary and such, the feeling, but I didn't put my foot on it, you know. I guess I left my guard down. I had my piece next to my leg, my revolver.
What are you carrying?
I had a yeah.
What are you carrying that night?
A 38 revolver.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Yeah, and I didn't have my Dirty Harry one then. The Magnum, right? But I remember feeling something, so I took the revolver, put it next to my leg just in case. So I did have a feeling, but anyway, he was like, hey, so he goes, come into the shop. I said, no, that's all right, man. Let's go down here, you know. But it's okay, come on. So lucky I didn't go to the shop because we'll probably both be dead to have everything organised there. But I got into the car. He seemed a little bit not himself, but I just didn't pick up on him. I guess things happen for a reason. God had other plans. But so we drove. We spoke about some things and went back and drove back. And he goes, look, just drop me off here. I walked back. I said, all right. So Johnny was at the front when we picked him up. Johnny was at the front. But in our culture, we get taught to give up the front chair for the oldies or your dad's friend, you know?
Yeah.
So we got out of the car, got him at the front. He sat at the back. Lucky because we'd both be dead now, one in each of our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we dropped him off, Johnny got out of the car and was walking to the front. He put his gun next to his chest and shot him, straight into the heart. I grabbed him by the arm and pulled him in, and I saw his arm go for me. So I lowered my neck up to the steering wheel and turned, and he fired 4 shots at me. Boom, 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 boom. 4 of them. One hit my skull. One bullet went into my skull. It was 32, so I was sort of like lucky. I was blessed, to be honest, because if it was
big bullet,
a 9mm or a Magnum, yeah, you know. So 32 is a big bullet. I mean, why don't you go practice one? See if it's not a big bullet, young man. It's still a big bullet, 32, right? Mm-hmm. So he got one into the head, hit lodged. One hit my back of my neck, or just missed my nerve system. You know, it would have severed my nerve. I would have been paralyzed from the neck down. One went to my ribs, straight to my heart. It was a good target shot, that one, but it broke. Instead of going to my heart, it broke 2 of my ribs. It hit my ribs, broke 2 of them, and popped out of my chest area. And then the other one hit the back of my arm. But I drove. I was spitting blood. I looked at my boy and I grabbed his chin. I was doing 140 kilometers, brother, down Grand Junction Road, Hospital Road. And I grabbed his chin and I put my mouth there and I tried to give mouth to mouth, like blow hard, you know. And all I can hear was bubbly noise. You know, I keep describing it to my when we have talks is that. Remember when you're a kid, you get the straw and you blow bubbles in your milk.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up, That's exactly what it sounded like, blood coming out from his throat, bubbly.
Yeah.
And and his eyes were lifeless, they were beautifully.
Dude.
They were, beautiful green eyes, and he was lifeless. And I said, La ilaha illallah. You know, La ilaha illallah for us Muslims is that when we're dying, we say La ilaha illallah. We want to die with that on our tongue, on the tip of our tongue. There's only one God, and there's only one God to worship, and that's Allah, you know. And
so you're saying this prayer for him.
Yeah, it's like there's only one God worthy to be worshipped, and it's God, you know, sort of thing. Allah, that's Allah, you know? And that's a blessing for us to die with that. And I was saying that for him, pointing my finger to the sky, you know, La ilaha illallah. And and I was saying it for myself because I was spitting blood, but I was asking Allah to accept this La ilaha illallah for him. Look, I knew he was dead, but a part of me wished he wasn't. So I called the ambulance, doing 140 kilometers. I said, look, I'm on Prospect Road, 123. And then I called his mum, and I said to her, I'm driving 140 kilometers. I said, I'd rather you hear it from me. said, what's wrong? I said, Johnny's dead. Sure, and I hung up on the phone because I couldn't hear I didn't want to hear the screams and stuff. So I hung up and just kept going. You know? And then the ambulance come. Oh yeah, so that's right. I'm driving. Imagine Prospect Road. It's a 40-kilometre zone. I don't know if they've changed it and been less now to 35, but imagine doing 140 on that road. No, imagine doing 50 on that road.
Oh, yeah, you're gone. You're
gone, right? And you points and stuff. 60, you're gone. If you do 80, you lose your license. But I was doing 140 kilometers like that, right? And then on the left side of me, coming down from that street where the North Adelaide Footy Club is, you know, that street, and the cop was coming, and they're just looking at me, and they 140, and they're looking at me going, hey, not even moving, bro. Slowly trying to come out to the street and then turning left really slow. And I didn't pick up on it then until I was in my bed, hospital bed in prison when they locked me up. And I started realizing things. You know, the helicopters were there that day. And I'll tell you how I know, because I said to Johnny, Johnny, look at this. As soon as we get out, there'll be a helicopter there. Let me know. And it was. They were in tune to what was going on. They just didn't want to stop it, you know.
So you think the police did this?
I don't think the police did it or were part of the organising of payments. No. Do I believe the powers that be knew about it? Yes, 110%. Do
you know who? I don't want you to say any names, but do you know who did it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Everyone knows he's done it. Even the cops did. They arrested him. Took his passport and his wife, and yeah, we're still here.
Okay. Do you want revenge?
I did, yeah, very much so. I got out of prison. I did my 14-month stretch. All I could think of is getting back to him and whoever came. This is what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to. I had it all planned. Jump the club out. You know, and because I obviously was a member from there, and. You know, I said I just want him, and if anyone else got up, I would have. You know, that was my mindset. I was ready to do that. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, God had other plans for me. I'm glad I didn't take anyone's life and be a burden on my soul, on their judgment. So I left it in Allah's hands. I chose my deen. I chose my religion. I chose Allah. I chose to follow it, to honor it, and honor my boy too, because he loved Islam. He loved his deen. We weren't very well educated at that time, but alhamdulillah, he loved his deen. He prayed all the time. He was happy to call himself a Muslim, and he's such a good kid, you know. And I chose Allah. I chose the religion of Islam, our teachings, and I feel peace. I felt peace out of it. So there had to be a level of forgiveness towards him for me to feel any peace in my heart with my religion.
To grieve.
Or was I just a hip? No, not to grieve. I had to, to grieve too, of course, you're right. But there's some depth in what you said, absolutely. But I think for me to feel peace in my religion, I had to make a choice to forgive him. Look, I want to be straight up with you. Just because I say I forgave him, which I did, right? And I left it to Allah, doesn't mean that if he's not in front of me, that I won't maul him, you know? I can't I can't promise you that.
If you saw him tomorrow.
Right now, I can't promise you, because the humans will weak sometimes. I forgive the guy. Look, I'll tell you how you know I've forgiven him. Has there been any retribution? Well, the answer is no, right? You haven't seen any cops or any news or anything. I mean, he wouldn't be walking right now if I was still part of that gang, because you know we have friends and stuff like that, and
I agree.
we do have contact. And I can tell you there are some people that are not happy at the moment.
I agree.
That will say to me, "We're waiting for you," and I said, "Well, you'll wait till your hair gets grey, because there's nothing you need to do." And I wouldn't put them in a position to do that.
It's very honourable of you, Vince.
No, of course, but I love my friends. I love my brothers. My brotherhood, Ummah United, a big shout out to Ummah United and Sahabas NC. But my community and all, I wouldn't give up my brothers. And I mean this, and we'll feel the same. The brothers that I'm with now, the community, I wouldn't give up my brothers for all the wealth in the world, but I love them for the sake of Allah. A lot of them are not perfect, neither am I.
But for you to not sick these people you know on, like, I'm a father myself, okay? If that shit happened to me, I don't know if I have the strength you have to not sick.
You can't.
Onto them. You know, like obviously you have people at your beck and call that you could come and have me shut up right now. But
Hold on. Let's be real for a second. First of all, to all the viewers, don't listen to this young man because he's said something that's going south for the winter, right? So let's be real for a second. I want to speak now, and then you can ask me the questions you want to do, right? First and foremost, that life of mine, that mindset, that concept is finished. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wanted to pick a fight with me, I'd fight because I want to protect myself from my family, my brothers. I mean, I'm not going to back down. It's never been in my nature, you know. And you know that from a kid. Like I said, I smacked the doctor back. It started from there. But for me, I want to make it very clear that this religion is the most, God, Allah, and Rasulullah, and this religion is the most important thing in my life. Nothing comes first, and nothing comes before this. And I mean that. And I say that with conviction. So for me, I've been put in a position of leadership within my community, and it's been voted. But even with the votes, it's the will of Allah, it's the qadr of Allah that put me in this position, and it's worldwide, brother. And I'm not here to boast or brag. We can get into it in a minute. It's gone worldwide, and that's not from my talent. God put me in this position, and it's a burden, and it's a blessing at the same time. But I feel that my calling has come. I realize what it is now, and I'm going to do the best I can to achieve and succeed in this. First, for the pleasure of Allah in this world. I want to leave this world leaving something that I've given back to the community, you know. And for us, our mission is to put all of us together as one community, brother. Christians, Muslims, it doesn't matter. I don't want the Christians and non-Christians to walk around Australia and around the world feeling scared about the Muslims, because we're not scary. We will help you on a drop of a hat. This is not a joke, brother. We will help you. And with all the viewers, to the non-Muslims out there listening, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you the very purest thoughts and in your mind, and the very essence of love in your hearts, and open up, because we are truly your brothers and sisters, you know. We care for you guys. Yes, I was a gangster and I shot at people. People shot at me. I came from a colorful life. I get that. But Islam is, if you really, really found Islam, you see that this majestic miracle and religion is truly a religion of peace, harmony, love, what do you call it? Forgiving. Like I said, look, I forgave a guy that shot my boy. I mean, how hard would that be, right?
Yeah.
A religion of forgiving.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot understand that. I cannot understand that.
Exactly.
You know,
brother, I grew up in that world. I was a gangster. It's required for me to get in. You know, imagine what I had to go through.
Yeah.
With pride. And everybody knows who I am, what I do.
Yeah.
On the drop of a hat. The cops knew.
Yeah.
Brother, some guys left the country to get out of there when I got out. Just didn't want a bar of it.
Yeah.
I won't mention their names because they knew from the past. Oh, we took on the biggest club, man. We did this, we did that. I mean, the evidence shows that
you were going to.
It wasn't about bragging. Yeah, it wasn't. I never walked around bragging. If people thought I was bragging or arrogant, that's their business, man. I was real to the cause, and the cause was that life. I was never fake. You know what I mean? I don't want to start putting tickets on myself, but I wasn't living that life being fake, man. Yeah. I lived it the way it was meant to live. I chose to live that life, so I died. Prison for the rest of my life. Prison. I accepted all that. If you don't accept being in prison for the rest of your life, or at least visiting the prison for a few years, or your life being taken away, or you're taking someone's life, if you don't accept prison 110% and a lifetime whack, or you don't, and you don't accept that you're going to die in this lifestyle. If you don't accept these things, don't get involved in that life, man. We call these people plastic gangsters. Yep. You know what I mean? They look the part, they look it, but as soon as something goes down, they call the cops and say, "Hey," you know what I mean? Or and this is the reality of things, right? So for me, I live that life, and this religion has changed my whole perspective. I've always been, I feel, kind, but this religion has changed my whole perspective in life. Harmony and peace, you know, in unity, with contentment, serenity, 100%. Love for one another.
100%. And this is what I will be selling this story as. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of someone turning their life around, and in a way where, you know, let's face it. 15 years ago, if you pissed off Vince Focarelli, you're going to know about it, right? 100%,
without a doubt.
And now, you know,
Don't blink.
You are able to forgive. I mean, I had a family member of mine when I was a child. I had a family member of mine who was abducted and murdered, and it wasn't until 33 years later he was convicted. And I have no forgiveness. You know, you're a child murderer. I have no forgiveness. And then leading up to this interview with you, I started looking, going, can I forgive? No. If someone hurt my own child, can I forgive? No. So I really do admire you. I do. And part of this interview was admiring you being able to do this. However you did it, and you've done it through Islam.
It was not easy. Not easy. Can I tell you something? Yeah, please. Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
Because I forgot to tell you something. Like, when I was in prison, I already had a vision, my blueprint on what to do. Jump the clubhouse, had the Uzi in one hand, the 9mm in the other.
Because you had to watch Giovanni's funeral from prison. You weren't allowed release, correct?
Oh, bro, don't remind me of that.
Okay.
That was, that was the most hardest. He's him being shot and I switched off when he died in front of me. Switched off. I was like a cold man. Didn't care about life. Didn't care. I didn't love. I didn't care. I had to switch off. I couldn't see. I didn't watch. I couldn't watch him. I just had to switch off. I can't explain to you. Like, I was cold. Like, his death didn't matter, even though inside I was dying. But I had to switch off because I had things to do now. I had no time to mourn him. I didn't, and I mourned him.
You all right?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, brother. One sec. Yeah, so I didn't have time to mourn him. But where it got me, which was the hardest thing, was the hardest thing was for me. No break, brother. Let's do this, brother. We'd rather live like a lion for one day than like a sheep for the rest of our lives, brother. Let's move on, And I remember watching his janaza, his funeral on TV, and that was like the hardest thing.
You okay, brother?
Alhamdulillah, brother. Thank you. Yeah, so it was the hardest thing,
Man, I can't imagine.
But that enraged me, and I said, okay. So anyway, I'll tell you the story that I want to tell you. Excuse me, viewers, forgive me. No. Sometimes we get emotional in life.
There's no need for that, man. There's no need for excuse.
Thank you, brother. And thank you, my brother. And alhamdulillah for everything. And so what I did was, in Islam, you have rights. A life for a life, tooth for tooth, nose for nose, an ear for ear. Let not the viewers think this is a bad thing. There is requirements. You just can't read that and say, oh, it's mine. There's requirements there and laws and regulations that have to be that are put in place, that when something happens, you have to go through the requirements, the regulations and things. You just can't take that as what it is, So I thought to myself, this is my haq. This is my haq, no problem. So that's why I said to myself, okay, I'll grab the Uzi on my left. Because it sprays. Doesn't matter, you can write your name on the wall with that. So when anyone comes, you can't miss on that. So I had to be, I put my mindset in all this. So I was ready to go, ready to get him, kill him. Yeah. And where was kind of running my way was to do the same.
But you knew exactly who it was.
Yeah, of course. Well, of course, he was in my car. He was. I drove him around. We spoke about certain things, and then I drove him back. He goes, "Drop me off here." So he was in my car. I picked him up, dropped him off. So he was the one that when he got out of the car, shot my boy, boom, and then shot at me, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Exactly right. So, that's what happens when you do. But that's that life. That life. You can call him a dog. You can call him a snake, a feral. Whatever names you want to call him. It doesn't matter because that life, you have to expect that. These are the people. You're dealing with these sort of people. You're not dealing with honest, kind people. And this is Islam. This is Islam and Christianity. The right Christianity. If you follow the right Christianity with following Jesus Christ, it should be a religion of peace, not racism or anything like that. So with that, when I got out, I was ready, and you can feel the tension in the air, brother, because people. like even my cousin, man, no one's going out in the streets. I said, well, mate, because you're out. I said, well, that's their business. And then they can't get any ice cream or gelati this week. They miss out. What can I say? If that's their choices, you know, it's silly.
How long did you do? How long did you do after that? They locked you up straight away after, huh?
Yeah, I was put in solitary confinement, like Guantanamo Bay, G Division, 23 hours lockdown, 10-minute phone call, 10-minute shower, and you'd be lucky to do a half an hour walk around a 3x2 courtyard with brick walls. So you're just by yourself.
To my knowledge, you didn't want protective custody.
No, I worked so hard. Every week I signed the contract. I said, look, I blame myself. Anything happens to myself, I want to go in population, which was dangerous for me, but also better for me too, because I had my friends. The phone calls, I can make many phone calls. My visiting, the visiting was 20 minutes. 20 minutes on Saturday, 20 minutes on a Sunday. And at the start was through a glass until you went to a certain period. To a certain period it was through a glass. And then, and there was no contact at all. But I jumped the table. I was contacting them, and I kissed them, hugged them and stuff. Don't worry about that. It wasn't going to stop me. But the screws were said, hey, I said, what? Hey, let me do my thing. But, and, when I got out, I was ready. But because I was following my religion so much, and I loved it so much, and I had so much respect, and I believed in it, that I wanted to do the right thing. So in Islam, you have to seek knowledge. You have to seek advice. So I remember there's this prominent sheikh that came from Queensland. He lives in Adelaide now. His teaching is from history and that. Very knowledgeable. And he had this talk, so I took my family there. But I had a curfew at 10 o'clock. And I remember Islam teaches patience. And people would jump in the queue in front of me to talk to him. Bro, you know what it took me? To hold myself and not grab these people by the ears and say, get the back of the line. Oh, brother. Back in the days, we'd walk at the front and that would be it. But I had to show stubborn patience, and I did. And I'm looking at my time. If I break the curfew, I'll go back to jail. And I didn't want to talk down to them and say, look, excuse me, I'm next. So at the end, when there was this lady was talking to him for so long, I said, excuse me, please forgive me. I told her straight out, I said, the police are going to come and arrest me if I don't talk to him and go home. Oh, okay. I told her straight. So I got him down here. I said, look, Sheikh, he's a scholar. I said, this is what happened with my son. 1, 2, 3. In the Quran, it says that an eye for a nose for a nose, an ear for an ear, a tooth for a tooth. It's my right to avenge my son. Or if he wanted to pay me blood money, we'll give you 10 grand or $1 million. It's up to me to accept that. Oh, and he goes, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I thought, wow, I got so excited. I'm on the right path here. I'm not going to displease Allah, having it on my heart on the day of judgment. He goes to me, there's an ayat on the bottom of that. There's a verse that if you forgive, it's an act of atonement. I said, yeah, that's fantastic, but I don't have to, right? I can go get him, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, I said, okay, leave it. No problem. Thank you very much, Sheikh. I was about to leave. He goes, but can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, sure. My whole world crumbled. Why couldn't he just let me leave, right? He goes to me, but were you living a haram life or a halal life? I go, what do you mean? He goes,
can you explain that? Can you explain that for the listeners, please? Yeah,
haram life and halal life is a clean life, a religious life, a life that serves the law and the community. And you're not doing anything illegal or bad or criminal. You're doing, for example, you're living like a non-criminal life. You're living a life of community where it's they go to work, they abide by the law, they pay the tax. So the good side of the community. I said, no, I was living a haram life. He goes, well, then you got no right. But I was like, boom. I got hit at the back of my head like a baseball bat. I said, no. So anyway, in Islam, we get encouraged to seek second advice. So in Ramadan, when the Tarawih prayers were finished at night, I grabbed the Sheikh. I said, Sheikh, can I talk to you? And we got along well with him, And I said, look, 1, 2, 3, the same as the other Sheikh. I said, everything equally is my right. He goes, yeah. He goes, but there's an ayat at the bottom. It's not connected with time. I said, but I don't want to forgive. I want to get this. No problem, it's your right. And then I said, okay, thank you, Sheikh. He goes, but were you living a halal life or a haram life? I said, hey, boom, again, right? So anyway, I ended up going to Melbourne. And I spoke to one of his brothers of mine that was pretty learned into this stuff. And I put the phone down on the car so they wouldn't hear me. the coppers that were listening, I guess. And I said to him, 1, 2, 3, the same deal. And he goes, yeah, but what are you doing? I said, that's it. I looked up at God. I said, I'm sorry. I asked 3 times. I'll stop here. So I had to learn to forgive now, because my right was taken away from me in that sense. So now what do? Do I live a life where I'm bitter, hateful, resentful? I want to eat him. I want to get him. I want to kill him, but I can't because of religion. 1, 2, 3. What do? So the alternative, which was the right thing to do, was to learn to forgive. When I say was learn to forgive, I didn't just say, yeah, I've forgiven the guy and move on. No, brother. There are certain process that you have to go mentally.
Oh, yeah. And
that alone, your mind can be your worst enemy or your best friend. And in this scenario, it was so hard to convince my worst enemy to chill, my thoughts. And this was a mountain that I was climbing with my thoughts. So I had to get my mind right to at least my mind to think about the forgiving part. And once that was established, and I was at a point where I was good, now I can go to the heart. You see? Now my next stage was the heart. Just because my thoughts were right. What I mean by my thoughts were that piece of work, that dog, that this, that, name calling and bad thoughts was consuming me. So I had to get my mind right. So once my mind was right, now I can go to the next step, to my heart.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that? The mind was easy, even though it was hard. The heart loved Johnny. Yeah. The heart was for Johnny. The heart was loyal to Johnny. Everything was Johnny.
It's tough, man.
I'm sorry, but
it's tough. And how do you feel what are your thoughts on the and how the media behaved in this time, adding fuel to all this, and at the same time you're trying to grieve, you're trying to transcend, for lack of better words, and then you're having, you're all over the front page of the newspaper, and they're slandering you. What are your thoughts on the media? Dare I say the name Nigel Hunt?
No, say it loud, but don't say it proud. I'll tell you. Say it loud, but don't say it proud. I've never, ever. I mean, God forbid me. I shouldn't call anyone any names, but if a name was ever given to him, it would be Weasel. But
we could change the H to a C.
Astaghfirullah, please, but I want to show good form here today. I'm a Muslim, mashallah.
That was me. That was me, not you. But look, he wasn't very polite to you in these times. The media were very, I was there, man. I was watching it. You were going. The media was, You were going through all this stuff, and the media were horrible. They're vultures.
I was there, very horrible. Very horrible. He was the worst kind. He was the worst person to. I mean, he had no morals, no principles, no sympathy. There was no humanity in him, and he thought he was doing the right thing to the community. Bro, you look like a racist, non-caring, cold-hearted human being that doesn't even love his mother. Will sell his mother for a price to get on the news. That's what he looked like, but he didn't realize that. He thought he was doing something great, standing up for the community. But the community were disgusted by him, really. Yeah. And I didn't care, but he did annoy me. I didn't want to have a chat with him, but I didn't care. And look, I can't be too long because I'm going to get my mum up. But let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, my dear friend. I want to talk about. So my son, of course, now I had to get to my heart, and that was a big mountain, brother. That was the part where I had to learn to forgive. And how do you learn to forgive a situation like this? Sorry, there was somebody trying to call. Right. I had to learn to forgive, and to do that, I had to get into the depths of religion. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, went through so many hardships, and he was a messenger of God, and he forgave and forgave and forgave and forgave and forgave atrocities that. I know that death is a high level of atrocity too, brother, but it was incredible. So I started understanding that this religion is based on one of the foundations, one of the pillars is really forgiving. Like you have to forgive, or you can't get through life. Look, brother, how can you get through life as a good Muslim? And how can you say you're a good human being if you want bad for someone?
Yeah.
And I mean bad, I mean evil stuff, right? So you can't go walk through life, walking the walk, talking the talk, and then can't walk the walk. It doesn't work like that. You have to be a forgiving person. You have to learn to understand the other person's. For example, one of the things that made me forgive him, right, was the understanding that you can't blame him for what he did. John is murderer. Yeah, one of the things that made me learn to forgive him was the fact of understanding that life requires that. Remember, I told you, if you don't accept death, if you don't accept 30 years of prison, don't be in that life.
Yeah.
So as much as you want to blame that person, you lived that life. You have to expect this. This was his requirement.
Yeah.
That was his job. That was his life.
Yeah.
He took it on,
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to do. 900,000 sound good. Sounds good to anyone. $900,000, $1 million, right? So that was part of the thing where I thought to myself, okay, well, I lived that life, so
yeah, live by the sword.
we need to, that's right. So and Islam, this majestic and amazing religion, brother. Wallahi, I promise you, I swear to God. It's brought so much peace into my heart, into my soul, into my mind. Am I perfect? No, I get angry sometimes. I do explosive anger stuff when things really affect me and emotionally, matters of the heart and whatnot. But
so what if someone steps to you today? Someone steps to you today and wants to have it on with you, and you go on with it, or can you walk away?
No, well, let me tell you. Before it was like, what? Well, I wouldn't even say what. I'd probably throw the punch and that would be in. It was on, Yeah. Look, for me, back then, when somebody said, F you, Vince, that was a punch for me. If it was over the phone, I'd hang up and I'll come and see where you are. If it was in front of me, I wouldn't say, no, you're the effing idiot. Oh, no, you are. And be like play school stuff at kindergarten. You push me, I'll push you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
For me, that lifestyle was respect, don't talk, like that. And I would act from 0 to 100. And it was like that. And, my enemies, my friends will vouch for that. This is not to brag, but with Islam, now if somebody goes, wow, I said, look, brother, I'll say, brother, if he's a Muslim, 100%, la ilaha illallah, brother, fear Allah, said, I'm your brother, and let's just leave it, And if the wife is there or the family and he's getting rowdy, and I'll say to my wife, just stand over there and say, brother, please, let it go.
Yeah. So you've got that. So you've got that in you. Yeah. Well,
I've got that power now. Yeah, I've got that power. I've got that strength now. You see, I've got that solidarity, that discipline, that will to speak to the brother. Even if he's not a Muslim, I'll say, look, bro. But if he went on and on, I'll say to him, look, I can't allow you to get any closer. I fear for my life. That way anyone watching, I'm giving him a warning. What can I do? Yeah, exactly.
Look, if you are strapped for time, I've got a few more. I just want to go through, and there's one question that's really important that I ask every guest. But look, just quickly, so try and condense them. What do you say to the speculation that you were used as a scapegoat by the Australian government to push through anti-biker laws?
I agree.
100%?
Next one.
All right, next one.
100%. Agree. Next one.
Do you miss the old lifestyle? Drugs, women, power, money?
Absolutely 142.2 million not.
Oh, not?
Not at all.
Okay.
Allah Akbar, God is great. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. That lifestyle, I don't miss any of it. No, not at all.
All right, cool. And there's a couple more, and then there's a big one at the end. Do you still feel like you were in danger or under a threat from your past life?
I don't feel. I don't feel. Okay, this is how it is. This is what I feel. Do I feel that there are bad seeds out there? Of course. You'd be silly not to, especially the magnitude that occurred in my life with certain elements, You'd be stupid, Do I care about it? Not at all. I care about what Allah thinks and what Allah has planned for me. Allah says in the Quran, chapter 3, ayat 145, verse 145, every soul shall taste death. Nobody is exempt, by the way, right? Every soul shall taste death with Allah's leave, and everything is written. Allah says, if you want the good things of this world, we'll give it to you. If you want the good things of the next life, we'll give it to you. But the profound part is that everything is written. My death is written, brother. If some gangster wants to come and shoot me in my head from the back and take notoriety, that's his business. But at the end of the day, Allah willed that. So the point I'm trying to make is that, do I feel that there's, of course, I'll be stupid not to. After everything that I've been through with certain elements, But that doesn't override my life. It doesn't take over at all. It's not a thought. It's just an instinctive to have as a defense mechanism when you're out there, or when when you see certain things that remind you of something, you're sort of more careful. Does it make me paranoid? Not at all. Not at all. And this is not to brag. I will not allow anything to dictate my emotions and my way of life on how to breathe, how to walk, where to go, have fun. No, bro. Come on. If I did that, I'll be a hypocrite to my deen, to my Islam, to my religion, to Allah. No. So that's number one. Number two, on that one, I don't care. I fear Allah. I'm not saying that I'm fearless. Of course, we get scared in some things and losing family and other stuff, but I fear Allah, and I don't want to take that fear from my God and give it to some creation when He's the Creator. I feel ashamed of that and betrayed. Next question.
Do you have any advice for young men thinking about joining a motorcycle club and considering a life of crime?
Before I answer that question, I would like to speak on behalf of United and the Sahaba MC. Please.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get to that real briefly too, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about 1% club. So you got any advice for young men over here thinking about joining a 1% club? Yeah, we're not a 1%. I want to make that clear in a minute. But no, not just 1% club, brother. Any criminal activity, any gangs out there, whatever the case may be. Of course, the attraction is the bikie world. Of course, we understand that. Yeah. Okay, my advice to the viewers. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open up. I ask God to open up the very minds, hearts, and souls of the youth. We want to tell you that Uncle Vince Focarelli, I love you all for the sake of Allah. You're not forgotten. The brothers and I around the world trying to do the best we can to get you back to your families, out of the depths of darkness, from that dirty life into light, and give you a chance to live a better life in this world. It's not worth it. Trust me when I tell you, I've been shot 5 times on point blank range. The bling bling is alluring, and we understand from our heart that it's very difficult for you guys to not be distracted with all the stuff that's happening in the world, fashion, girls, bling bling. Like, you guys are being put under pressure each and every day. Social media, you don't get off your phones. You want to get it, we get it. We understand. We're not turning our back on you. We want to make this very clear to the youth, Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, non-Christians, Jews, not Jews, whatever the case may be. We love you. We're not forgetting you. We're putting things into place to bring you back to your parents, your family, to a lifestyle that is clean, pure, benefits you. Nothing is perfect in this world. We're all going to stumble. We're all going to fall. We've all got hurdles to climb. But I'm telling you, from my heart and from my experience, that life there brings you nothing but hardship, mentally, physically, spiritually. What I mean by mentally, depression, darkness, bad thoughts, to harm somebody, or you think people are going to harm you. You become solitude. You become a hermit. You become paranoid. You can't socialize, or some of you will turn evil and try to rectify. You go into prison. That's the physical side. You're taking your freedom away. You can act staunch and great and big all you want, but your freedom will be taken away from you, from your thoughts. So none of these pure thoughts of trying to do good in life and be happy and do certain things, that's going to be clean and taken away from you. Your heart will darken. You'll get sad and paranoid with certain things. You want to love life. You want to enjoy life. You want to bestow benefits on others. Just a smile is an act of charity to someone that is doing it hard. Listen to me, you. You guys are lions. Start roaring. It's now at the moment in this life, you're sheep. This is what you're doing. A sheep follows another sheep. A lion stands alone. We know in our hearts, especially in our organization of Ummah United and Sahabas MC, that is spreading around the world. We know how hard it is for you guys. Come back into this life, into the light. Trust me, and it's not easy. We know you're gonna fail, and it's gonna take forever to get you back. But before it's too late, make efforts and intentions. You're gonna see a lot of Ummah United clothes around Australia, around the world, and Sahabas MC riding bikes. We've put this together to attract you guys. We're not bikies, and we haven't done that up a clubhouse so we can ride and feel like bikes. We put these vests and these colours on, and Ummah United, the gangland look, the gangster look, clothes wear for you guys. You like the gangster look?
so we're giving it to you guys. At the same time, our life is clean, it's pure, it's cleansing. You know, we're giving back to the community. We're doing charitable work. We're trying to unite the Christians, the Muslims, the non-religious, all together to live in harmony, peace, tranquility. Is this a big task? Of course it is. It's enormous. We can't change the world. People tried, but let's try in our communities. So I'm calling out to the youth of Australia, and listen to me very carefully. Life is like a domino effect in hardship. It hurts everyone, affects everyone, our parents, our sisters, our brothers, our kids, whatever the case may be. There is no happiness. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There's no light at the end of the tunnel in that life. It's impossible, you know. And I've lost my son as a perfect example. We are losing our sons around the world. So to the youth, I encourage you, and I want you to know this to the viewers, please. To all the youth around the world, especially in Australia, we love you. We love you all for the sake of Allah. We're not giving up on you guys. We haven't turned our back. In fact, we're working around the clock with people with wealth and stuff to provide a service for you guys, to get you going to certain areas, to train facilities and have facilities where you can be together, play a ball, just bring you back into the community instead of the outskirts in the cities where there is drug, alcohol fueled. We haven't turned our back on you. I encourage you that when you see any of these clothes wear, ask them where you got it. Get some yourself, put it on, and be part of this one community and live in peace. Grant us, help us, give us a chance to help you guys. That's my advice.
Man, that is a pretty amazing answer, dude.
Was that the answer you were looking for?
Man, that is your answer. Yes. So I agree that there is other ways out, and I don't think that's a life that young people should be looking for. We'll finish it up, Vince, with one last question that I ask all my guests, mate. If you could, first of all, Crows or Port Power?
Crows, come on.
Thank you. All right.
Crows.
So
go to Crows.
Basically, if you could send back, and we'll condense this. This is the last question, and we'll probably 9 times out of 10, it's the name of the episode. If you could send yourself back a fortune cookie back in time with a little piece of advice on it, one sentence or one paragraph of advice, what would that fortune cookie say?
Well, that'll have to come from my dad. My dad always said to me, don't put all your trust in your friends.
That's a good one.
And don't put all your trust in your friends. What that means is love your friends, trust your friends, but when they want you to do the wrong thing, don't do it. You know, don't put all your trust in your friends, because the ones that want you to do the wrong thing don't really end up being your friend, because anyone that is your friend wants the best for you. You know, they want to make sure that you're protected, you're cared for, and not in harm's way. So anyone that loves you out there, guys, that is your friend, they want the best for you. Of course, you're going to do cheeky things as teenagers do. That's normal. We get that. But when you're asked, okay, I'll make an example. For example, right? If a friend asks you to do something and you say, "No, look, I'm not going to get involved," and he frowns upon it and starts abusing you verbally, how is that your friend? He should respect your decision and move on. Yeah. You know, you don't do it. You know, or if you say no, advise your friend not to do it. It's bad. But if the friend gets angry at you because you're not doing it, how's that your friend? You know, then you should realize it's okay. Moving on. So that's my advice.
Yeah. All right, Vince, man, it's been amazing. I do have a heap of more questions, but look, I've got a kid at school. You got a mum that's not doing well. I hope she. I hope she's pain free at the moment. Where can people find you online to get involved with this new movement, mate? Do you want to plug your social medias?
Yes, please. Also, I just want to give a shout out to some important people in my life, please, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And this part doesn't get edited, all right?
No.
So
I'm not going to edit anything.
First, you like this one, huh? Okay. So I want to give a shout out to Ummah United and all our organisation and social network through there around Australia and all parts of the world. So a big shout out to Ummah United, Sahaba MC that is spreading around Australia and the world. I want to give a shout out to this organisation that is a non-profitable organisation, and our intentions are to give back to the community and unite everyone so we can live in peace and show that Islam, the religion of Islam, is truly a religion of peace and not your enemy. We are not. We, in fact, are your protectors and your friends and brothers and sisters. A big shout out to my little lion, Afia. She's almost 3 years old. She's in Australia, Adelaide. Haven't seen her for a while since this COVID thing. A big shout out to you, Astia, my little bambina. Papa loves you so much. I haven't forgotten about you. I think and dream and worry about you every day. I pray for you. I love you so much. Boss Baby is her nickname because she's really bossy. But I love you for the sake of Allah, and you're always in my dua, Papa. Okay, I miss you. To my family, my daughters, Zainab, Julia, Amina, my grandkids, of course, Hala and Asim, and of course Johnny, the little prince. He was named after Johnny that passed away.
Yeah.
Johnny, I love you, Papa. I love your Nono. Okay, Mami Poo. And I love you, Johnny. Nono loves you. And shout out also to the Muslim community in Australia. A big love for the sake of Allah for all the ones that are supporting me and giving me the biggest shout outs. I love you guys for the sake of Allah. Don't give up on me. Keep supporting me because I'm not done yet. Allah has other plans for me, you know.
I believe that, mate. I believe you're not done yet.
No, not yet. And a big shout out. I need to do this. A big shout out to Box King.
Yeah, I was going to talk about them. I want to shout them out too. So I've had it.
Yeah, Box King.
Yeah. I'll have a bit of a chat to you off air about them guys, and so we won't hang up. So
not a problem.
Look, Vince, thank you so much for coming on. Hell of a story, mate.
Sorry.
Go.
1 second. Box King, Mohammed, the Kurdish, he's got his first professional fight in a few weeks. The whole Malaysia's behind you. Australia's definitely behind you. Umma United, Sahabas MC, we love you, man. He was one of my Johnny's best friends, in fact, he's Johnny's protector. But I love you, Mohammed. Big shout out to you and your Box Kings. But do the best you can and do what you need to do. Make us proud. We're watching you. I love you for the sake of Allah, young blood, my lion. And salam alaikum. Thank you, bro.
So that's BOXKINGZ01 on Instagram, Box Kings, and Vince Focarelli official on Instagram if you want to follow him. Vince, hell of a story, mate, and I thank you so much for coming on. Don't hang up. We'll have a bit of a chat after, but I just want to thank you so much for being honest, and your story is a crazy one, but it's a fantastic one. You've come out on the right end of it. I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future. I'd really love to see a book. I'd really love to see.
There's a book coming out. Of course, we'll talk about that the next time we can come on. But the book is almost finished. But I just want to say before we go, all praise and glory be to Allah. Thank you, brother, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, my man. I'll wait for you.
All right. Peace, brother.
Peace, my brother. Bye.